Chapter 2844. This time, Lu Ming had not activated the battle formula and he was already able to suppress Gu Ming. In terms of strength, Gu Ming was no match for Lu Ming. I wonder if the battle formula can be combined with the ancient god body. Let's give it a try. Lu Ming's heart stirred. Instantly, he activated the battle word manual, which increased his combat power by 3 times. Wang! The long spear that was a few thousand meters long was whipped out, causing the void to explode. Bam! This time, Gu Ming's body was sent flying thousands of miles away. He crashed into a huge mountain, shattering it into pieces. Lu Ming was shocked. He was afraid that Gu Ming would be whipped to death. The battle formula could indeed be combined with the ancient god body. When combined, the power would be even more shocking. Fortunately, the ancient god body of a descendant of the ancient god body was too tenacious. Gu Ming rushed out from the mountain. However, he was in a miserable state. The scales on his body were shattered and blood flowed out. He looked like he was on his last breath. I'm not fighting anymore. I'm not fighting anymore. You pervert. I'm not fighting anymore. Gu Ming shouted from afar. If their strengths were similar, they could still fight. However, if the gap was too big, he would be looking for a beating. What was there to fight? I wonder what cultivation realm I can go against now that I've unleashed my full strength. Lu Ming measured his combat strength. When he was at the 5th level of true god realm and had not awakened the ancient god body, he could kill a 1st level heavenly god and fight a 2nd level true god. When he broke through to the 6th level of true god realm, he could probably suppress a 2nd level true god or even kill a 2nd level heavenly god. Generally, those who could break through to the heavenly god realm had mastered king grade divine power. Of course, the peerless geniuses who mastered saint grade divine power were an exception. In other words, Lu Ming estimated that he could suppress or even kill a 2nd level heavenly god if he did not use the ancient god body. However, once he used the ancient god body, his strength would skyrocket. He could even kill a 4th level heavenly god. Once he used the ancient god body, his strength would skyrocket by 2 levels. Moreover, it was 2 levels of the heavenly god realm. This was Lu Ming's estimation of his strength. The strength of the ancient god body was too strong. Of course, this was because he had a green-armored ancient god body. A low-level ancient god body would not have improved as much. Amazing, truly amazing. If my strength were to increase by another 2 levels, even if I were to encounter Tian Hong, Floating Light and the others, I would be able to contend against them. Lu Ming revealed a confident expression. Although the Tianhong Saint Sun and Fuko Seiko were both 4th level celestial gods, they were Kongxian school saint sons. Naturally, their battle prowess couldn't be judged based on cultivation. Is this the green-armored ancient god body? What terrifying strength! So powerful. Gu Ming is no match for him at all. If he breaks through to the heavenly god realm, I wonder how powerful he will be. The surrounding ancient god descendants were also amazed. Whoosh! At this time, a few figures appeared not far from Lu Ming, carefully sizing up Lu Ming. Lu Ming, they are from another tribe. Gu Hongshan flew over and said. Oh, they are from another tribe. It seems that the news of me awakening the green-armored ancient god body has spread. Lu Ming nodded. He thought that the news of him awakening the green-armored ancient god body was spread by the people of the 8th tribe. In fact, he naturally did not know that when he awakened the green-armored ancient god body, it had caused a huge commotion. You are very powerful. How about sparring with me? Another young man stepped out. This person had a majestic build, like a heavenly pagoda. It's Gu Tian, the top genius of the 3rd tribe. As soon as the young man stepped out, he was recognized. All right, let's spar. Lu Ming nodded. He had just gained control of the ancient god body and needed to familiarize himself with it. Roar. With a roar, Gu Tian unleashed his ancient god body. As the top genius of the 3rd tribe, Gu Tian had awakened an orange-armored ancient god body and his cultivation had reached the third-level heavenly god realm. Although it seemed that he had just reached it, his strength was much stronger than Gu Ming's. Fight! Fight! Lu Ming and Gu Tian took action right away. The two of them transformed into two giants, fighting and colliding with each other crazily. Gu Tian's cultivation was much higher than Lu Ming's. In the beginning, Lu Ming was at a disadvantage. However, as Lu Ming became more familiar with the control of the ancient god body, Lu Ming was able to execute all his god skills and secret arts with the help of the ancient god body. Lu Ming slowly turned the tables around and fought Gu Tian to a standstill. After exchanging a few hundred blows, both of them were covered in sweat. Awesome, awesome, Lu Ming's eyes glittered. The descendants of the ancient gods were indeed battle-hungry. The battle with Gu Tian had allowed Lu Ming to unleash his combat abilities to his heart's content. His application and comprehension of various divine skills had improved to a higher level. Impressive, let's fight another day. After fighting for so long, Gu Tian was almost exhausted. He had no choice but to call it a day. Lu Ming nodded and returned to his residence to meditate. In the following days, either the experts of the ancient god clan would come to Lu Ming to spar, or Lu Ming would take the initiative to fight with the experts of the ancient god clan. He continued to hone his combat strength and the use of various god skills and secret arts. Gradually, Lu Ming became more familiar with the use of various god skills and secret arts that he had mastered. They worked together seamlessly. In this way, Lu Ming stayed in the tribe of the descendants of the ancient god for 5 years. In these 5 years, he had visited the 10 major tribes of the descendants of the ancient god. The descendants of the ancient god were very forthright. They had completely treated Lu Ming as one of their own. Lu Ming had also made many friends here, such as Gu Tian and Gu Ming. They would spar with each other from time to time. In these 5 years, Lu Ming hadn't met anyone from the Qin Tian star area. However, he knew from the other descendants of the ancient god that the people from the Qin Tian star area were still in this world. They hadn't gone out, but were hiding in various places. Lu Ming guessed that the door to the outside world hadn't been opened yet. Therefore, Lu Ming wasn't in a hurry. 5 years later, Lu Ming planned to go to the North Wasteland Devil Field in this world. Lu Ming, you want to go to the North Wasteland Devil Field? When Lu Ming told Gu Hongshan his plan, Gu Hongshan's expression changed. The North Wasteland Devil Field was in the extreme north of the ancient god world. It was said that there were countless demons there. Moreover, the demons there were different from the demons that Lu Ming and the others had encountered when they had just entered this world. Many demons there had intelligence and were more powerful. The demons in the North Wasteland Devil Field had always been the sworn enemies of the descendants of the ancient god. The two sides had been killing each other for countless years. Therefore, Gu Hongshan's expression changed when he heard Lu Ming's words. Lu Ming, I know you're the descendant of the ascetic cultivators. You need to go into all kinds of dangerous places to train yourself. However, the North Wasteland Devil Field is very dangerous. You still need to be careful. Gu Hongshan warned him seriously. Brother Hongshan, don't worry. I know. Lu Ming nodded and said. Although he could train himself here, he couldn't have life and death battles. After all, Lu Ming wouldn't be able to train himself here. Therefore, Lu Ming chose to go to the North Wasteland Devil Field. Baidu Search Translator, Zephizi Editor, Defizo. No advertising message. Chapter 2845. Lu Ming took his leave and embarked on his journey to the Northern Wasteland Devil Field alone. Cold winds howled and the world was covered in a vast expanse. Lu Ming didn't fly but walked on the ground at a steady pace. The resources on this land were more abundant than the area where Lu Ming and the others had just entered. Lu Ming had only been here for 7 days and he had already obtained many heavenly treasures. He gave most of the divine medicines to the measuring character formula and gave most of the metal element materials to Qiuqiu. Roar. With a roar, a gust of demonic wind surged. At the same time, a giant creature pounced on Lu Ming. It was a tiger-shaped demon with a cultivation of level 3 heavenly god realm. In an instant, Lu Ming activated the battle character formula, which increased his combat strength by 3 times, and swept out his spear. Clang! Lu Ming's spear struck the sharp claws of the tiger-shaped demon, producing a clang and sparks. Swoosh! Lu Ming retreated rapidly. He only managed to stabilize himself after retreating a few thousand meters. Descendant of the ancient god, how dare you come to the northern wasteland devil field? Die! The tiger-shaped demon roared and charged at Lu Ming again. Indeed, it has a high level of intelligence. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. The demons they had encountered when they first entered the ancient god realm had no intelligence. It was said that some demons in the northern wasteland devil field had intelligence. Demons with intelligence were undoubtedly more terrifying. Qiuqiu, Lu Ming waved his hand and Qiuqiu flew out. Its body was covered in lightning and a bolt of lightning struck out. This bolt of lightning directly hit the tiger-shaped demon and sent it flying. Roar! The tiger-shaped demon roared. It was severely injured but not dead. It struggled to get up with a look of fear on its face. Then, it turned and ran. Demons are indeed stronger than ordinary cultivators. With a thought, Lu Ming moved and chased after the tiger-shaped fiendish demon. If a third-level celestial god from the Qin Tian star field was struck by Qiuqiu's lightning, they would definitely die. However, this demon was only heavily injured and not dead. Lu Ming executed the Garuda technique and rapidly closed the distance between him and the tiger-shaped demon. Descendant of the ancient god, the one who will die today is you. At this moment, the tiger-shaped demon suddenly stopped, turned around and roared ferociously. Not good. Suddenly, Lu Ming's heart tightened as he sensed danger. Roar, roar, roar! At the side, roaring like thunder, a total of 4 demons rushed out and charged towards Lu Ming. Each demon had a cultivation of the third-layer heaven god realm. Their murderous intent was as sharp as a blade. They had been ambushed. Demons with intelligence were indeed terrifying. They had actually set up an ambush here in advance to lure Lu Ming here. Lu Ming had been too careless. He did not think that the demons would ambush him, which was why he had fallen into their trap. For third-layer heaven god realm demons charged at Lu Ming from all directions. This was a sure-kill situation. They wanted to kill Lu Ming in one fell swoop. If this was the extent of Lu Ming's means, he would be in danger. It would be the same even if he had Qiuqiu. Qiuqiu might be able to stop 1 or 2 demons, but it would definitely not be able to stop 4. However, Lu Ming still had a trump card. Ancient god body. Lu Ming let out a low growl. His body swelled rapidly, transforming into a 100-meter-tall giant. His entire body was covered with green scales. Sky-piercing. Lu Ming shook his spear. The spear in his hand turned into 4 spear glows and stabbed from 4 different directions. Puff. 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 The sound of 4 sharp blades piercing through flesh rang out. The 4 demons screamed in agony as their bodies were sent flying. Their bodies had all been pierced through. 4 bloody holes had appeared in their bodies. They lay on the ground, no longer breathing. 4 third-layer heaven god realm demons were killed in a single move. Ancient god body, green-armored ancient god body, how is this possible? The tiger-shaped demon from before yelled in disbelief. Nothing is impossible, kill. Lu Ming yelled. He stepped forward and slashed his spear downward, killing the tiger-shaped demon. As such, the 4 demons were killed. There were no other demons around. Lu Ming's body shrunk to the size of an ordinary person. Demons with intelligence should not be underestimated. I should be more careful from now on. Lu Ming warned himself. He then continued to wander and train himself. Spring went and autumn came. Time passed year after year. 50 years had passed in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming had been cultivating in the northern wasteland demon plane for 50 years. In these 50 years, Lu Ming seemed to have turned into an ascetic cultivator. Of course, Lu Ming had also benefited a lot in these 50 years. The resources in this domain were too abundant. The quantifying character formula had devoured a huge amount of divine herbs and transferred their energy to Lu Ming after refining them. Lu Ming's cultivation had improved from the 6th layer True God realm to the 8th layer True God realm. Moreover, after 50 years of fighting and tempering, he had made great progress in all kinds of divine skills. The 9 heavens Kunpeng art, the 9-layered crimson golden armor, and the apocalyptic 3 strikes had all reached the 6th layer and the peak of the 6th layer. This allowed Lu Ming's cultivation to soar to a new height. It was worth mentioning that Qiuqiu's cultivation had improved by 2 layers after consuming a huge amount of metal-type materials. It had reached the 3rd layer Heaven God realm. Its improvement was even faster than Lu Ming's. Good wine. On a huge ancient tree, Lu Ming was lying on a branch. He held a wine gourd and took a sip. He could not help but exclaim in satisfaction. The wine in the gourd was brewed by other demons using countless treasures. Lu Ming had obtained it by chance. It was a peerless wine. Lu Ming fell in love with it as soon as he drank it. Lying on the branch and drinking wine, Lu Ming felt extremely satisfied. Good, 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 good. Unfortunately, I can't do that with my current cultivation. Lu Ming sighed softly. Suddenly, Lu Ming's gaze flickered. He saw a few figures flashing by not far away and flying toward the front. Those figures were not demons, but people from the Qin Tian Starfield. Experts from the Mystic Academy. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. Judging from their clothes, those people were from the Mystic Academy. Why would people from the Mystic Academy appear in the Northern Wasteland? Strange, let's go and have a look. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He then followed them carefully. Lu Ming followed them on the ground. Those people did not notice him at all. Lu Ming circulated his divine power to his ears and listened carefully to their conversation. Hurry up, Lord Deity King has summoned us. We can't be late. One of them said. I wonder why Lord Deity King has summoned us in such a hurry this time. Another person asked. It's all because of the ancient god's descendants. Last time, the ones who attacked our base were the ancient god's descendants. Moreover, the divine king has found out that the ancient god's descendants have a large number of treasures. There are even treasures that can transform a person into an ancient god's body. Therefore, this time, many forces of the Qin Tian Star Field have joined forces with the Northern Wasteland Devil Field to wipe out the ancient god's descendants and seize their treasures. The first person said. Baidu Search Translator, Zephizi Editor, Defizo. No advertisement. Chapter 2846. I see. Ha ha ha, I hope we can get some soup when the Supreme Being eats the meat. A burly man from the Mystic Academy burst out laughing. The experts of the Qin Tian Starfield have formed an alliance with the demon beasts of the Northern Wasteland Demon Plain to attack the descendants of the ancient gods. Lu Ming was shocked when he heard the news. Lu Ming did not expect such a thing to happen. After hearing this news, the first thing that came to Lu Ming's mind was to rush back to the tribe of the descendants of the ancient god and inform them. The tribe of the descendants of the ancient gods had lived here since ancient times. They did not compete with the rest of the world. When they attacked Lu Ming and his group, they only treated Lu Ming and his group as invaders. Therefore, they had to fight back. Besides, Lu Ming had stayed in the tribe of the descendants of the ancient gods for 5 years. He had learned a lot from the tribe of the descendants of the ancient gods and had treated them as his friends. He definitely wouldn't watch his friends get into trouble. Wait. Suddenly, an old man from the Mystic Academy yelled and came to a stop. What's wrong? The rest of the group was taken aback. Someone is following us. Who is it? Get the hell out here. The old man glanced in Lu Ming's direction with cold eyes. I've been discovered. Such sharp senses. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold. You're courting death if you don't come out. The old man from the Mystic Academy was decisive. He made his move when he saw Lu Ming did not come out. His hand was like a saber as he slashed forward. A pitch-black demonic saber slashed at Lu Ming's direction. Whoosh! Lu Ming executed the Nine Heavens Kunpeng art and dodged the slash with a flicker. Rumble. The demonic saber slashed at the ground, leaving a deep ravine that stretched for a few 100,000 meters. Sixth layer Heaven God Realm. Lu Ming straightened his face. The old man was a sixth-layer Heaven God Realm expert. The old man saw Lu Ming as soon as he moved. Lu Ming, it's Lu Ming. It's that kid. The 5 people from the Mystic Academy unleashed cold murderous intents. That being said, their eyes were filled with astonishment too. They did not expect to stumble into Lu Ming here. Ha ha ha, this is truly a case of traveling far and wide in search of something, only to find it by chance without any effort. So this brat was actually here. Just nice, I'll kill him and ask the Divine King for a reward. No, let's not kill him first. Let's cripple him first. My turn. A burly man took a few steps forward and transformed into a saber gleam, charging toward Lu Ming. He was a 5th-layer Heaven God Realm. If it was 50 years ago, Lu Ming could only turn and run when he encountered a 5th-level celestial god. However, Lu Ming was not the same Lu Ming's back then. Bang! Moon slashing. Lu Ming swung his spear, firing a crescent-shaped spear glow. Bang! There was a terrifying collision between the two sides. The crescent-shaped spear gleam shook violently and then shattered. Lu Ming's figure retreated rapidly. However, although Lu Ming retreated rapidly, he managed to block the other party's move. What? The people of the Mystic Academy were astounded. Lu Ming managed to block the attack of a 5th-layer Heaven God Realm expert. Lu Ming actually possessed such strength? This kid. Their eyes were filled with great astonishment. Kid, die. The bulky man saw Lu Ming blocking his attack. In the midst of his astonishment, he charged at Lu Ming with murderous intent. The pitch-black demonic saber slashed at Lu Ming across a distance of 10,000 li. Whoosh. Whoosh. Lu Ming executed the Nine Heavens Kunpeng technique and dodged the attack. Instead of advancing, he retreated and charged at the middle-aged bulky man. Qiuqiu. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Qiuqiu and threw a punch. Qiuqiu had been in the form of a bracelet on Lu Ming's wrist. At this moment, dazzling lightning filled the air. A bolt of lightning as thick as an arm shot out from Lu Ming's wrist and blasted toward the middle-aged burly man. Petty tricks, break. The middle-aged bulky man was unconcerned. He slashed his saber to break the lightning. Oh no, be careful. The old man with sharp spiritual sense noticed the unusual lightning and warned Qiuqiu. However, it was too late. Bang! The lightning shattered the opponent's saber glow and landed on his body. The other party was sent flying. His entire body was charred black. He was already breathing more than he was breathing in. With Qiuqiu's current cultivation, it wasn't difficult for him to kill a 5th-layer Heaven God Realm expert if he was caught off guard. Damn it. Let's attack together and cripple this kid. The remaining 4 cultivators of the Mystic Academy yelled and unleashed their murderous intent. They did not make a move previously because the middle-aged burly man alone was enough to kill Lu Ming. There was no need for them to make a move. They did not expect Lu Ming to be so powerful. The remaining 4 people launched their attacks one after another and charged toward Lu Ming. Each of them exuded a powerful aura. 2 6th-layer Heaven Gods and 2 5th-layer Heaven Gods. Lu Ming's eyes glittered. His opponent's strength had far exceeded his imagination. Let's go. Lu Ming turned around and left. Trying to run away? No one can save you today, kill. The 4 cultivators of the Mystic Academy chased after Lu Ming at a shocking speed. The 2 6th-layer heaven gods in particular had practiced speed-related god skills. Their mastery of them was higher than Lu Ming's, thus their speed was faster than Lu Ming's. They rapidly closed the distance between them and Lu Ming. "Humph, who said I'm running away?" Lu Ming murmured in his heart. His eyes flickered with wisdom. He had never thought of running away from the beginning. He was planning to kill all his enemies at once. With his current strength, it wasn't impossible for him to cooperate with Qiuqiu. "Qiuqiu, I'll leave the old man to you. Keep him busy." Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Qiuqiu. "Don't worry, leave it to me." Qiuqiu's voice was heard. "Go." Lu Ming waved his hand and Qiuqiu flew toward the old man at high speed. It then transformed into a huge metal ball. 2 battle sabers extended from its body and slashed at the old man madly. A metal life form, die. The old man roared and slashed out with his demonic saber, trying to kill Qiuqiu. However, the 2 of them clashed continuously. His attack was blocked by Qiuqiu. At the same time, Qiuqiu would release lightning from time to time during the battle. With Qiuqiu's current strength, it could fight against a 6th-layer heaven god if it went all out. "You guys go and kill that kid," the old man roared. Needless to say, the other 3 also chased after Lu Ming. "Kid, you can't run away. Die, strange demon divine palm." The other 6th-layer heaven god was an old man in a black robe. He threw out a palm and a pitch-black palm print flew toward Lu Ming with shocking power. Divine dragon aspect, moon slashing. Lu Ming roared and instantly used 2 of his strongest moves, the divine dragon aspect art and the 3 strokes of destruction. Chapter 2847. Roar. A giant 9-clawed dragon appeared and lunged at the old man in a black robe. Meanwhile, a crescent-shaped spear glow slashed at the old man in a black robe. Bang! Bang! The 9-clawed dragon and the crescent-shaped spear glow slashed at the pitch-black palm seal, resulting in a great explosion and a great tremor. Crack! Bang! The 9-clawed divine dragon dharma characteristic and the crescent-shaped spear gleam shattered almost at the same time. The terrifying palm force surged out and blasted Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming gave a muffled snort and his body retreated wildly. Cracks appeared on the golden red armor on his body. Lu Ming spat out a mouthful of blood. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, he could fight against a 4th-layer heaven god under normal circumstances, but there was still a huge gap between him and a 6th-layer heaven god. "Now, let's see what you've got. Die." The old man in a black robe said coldly. He continued to attack Lu Ming with the 2 5th-layer heaven god realm experts. Lu Ming raised his speed to the maximum. Apart from the ancient god flesh, he had used all his moves to defend himself, but it was useless. He was still vomiting blood from the attacks. He was severely injured. "Kid, I was planning to cripple you, but I've changed my mind. I'll kill you once and for all." The old man in a black robe chuckled coldly. He was less than 100 li away from Lu Ming. In their eyes, 100 li was no different than a meter. He slashed with his saber, wanting to kill Lu Ming. "Now's the time." There was a cold gleam in Lu Ming's eyes. He had been waiting for a chance like this. The old man in a black robe had let his guard down. He assumed that was all Lu Ming had. As a matter of fact, the old man in a black robe and the others were already astounded by the strength of an 8th-layer heaven god realm cultivator. They did not think Lu Ming had any other tricks up his sleeves. Lu Ming was waiting for his opponent to let his guard down and underestimate him. Otherwise, even if he had unleashed his ancient god physique, he might not have been able to kill a 6th-layer heaven god expert. What he wanted was to catch him off guard and kill him with a single strike. At this moment, Lu Ming activated the ancient god tactic. His body expanded and turned into a green-armored ancient god. This is, a descendant of the ancient god? Impossible, How could he be a descendant of the ancient gods? The black-robed old man and the other two were stunned. Even if Lu Ming had used other methods, they wouldn't have been so surprised. However, wasn't Lu Ming from the Qin Tian star field? How could he transform into an ancient god? They were stunned. It was this moment of stupor that decided their life and death. Moon slaying. Lu Ming roared and swept out with his spear. A huge spear light swept towards the black-robed old man. Ah! The other party roared. He finally reacted and wanted to dodge, but it was already too late. Puff! The black-robed old man was directly killed by Lu Ming. A 6th-level celestial god was killed by Lu Ming with a single strike of his spear when he had underestimated his opponent and was in a daze. Then, the 2 5th-layer heaven gods finally reacted and quickly retreated. However, how could Lu Ming let them retreat? He pressed his spear and attacked the two of them. When Lu Ming used the ancient god flesh, his strength was enough to fight against a 6th-layer heaven god realm expert. It was not difficult for him to deal with a 5th-layer heaven god realm expert. In addition, the other party was panicking and had no intention to fight, thus they were crushed by Lu Ming. Roar! Lu Ming was 100 meters tall. He roared into the sky like an ancient god being reborn. The terrifying aura of the ancient god spread out, causing the two of them to tremble in fear. Bang! One of them was swept by Lu Ming's spear and exploded in the air. Help! The remaining 5th-layer heaven god realm expert was scared out of his wits. He desperately rushed toward the old man who was fighting with Qiuqiu. How could this be? The old man was also scared out of his wits. This scene was completely out of his expectations. He was careless and was almost hit by Qiuqiu. He quickly blocked it. Die! Lu Ming's cold voice sounded. His huge figure seemed to follow the spear and turned into a ray of spear light, piercing out. Puff! The 5th-layer heaven god realm expert was pierced through by Lu Ming's spear and killed in the air. In this way, only the old man was left. Damn it, get lost, the old man was almost scared to death. He frantically attacked Qiuqiu, trying to push Qiuqiu back and escape. However, Qiuqiu's body was like liquid metal. It had many changes and was unpredictable. Its ability to entangle people was stronger than his battle strength. It tightly entangled the old man. At this time, Lu Ming had already arrived. Let me send you on your way. Lu Ming waved his spear and joined forces with Qiuqiu to attack the old man. There was no suspense in this battle. Both Qiuqiu and Lu Ming could fight the old man alone. The old man's fate was already decided when the two of them joined forces. The old man tried his best to resist more than 10 moves. Finally, Qiuqiu found an opportunity and struck his head with a lightning strike. Then, Lu Ming swept his spear and killed the old man. Let's go, let's leave. Lu Ming put away the storage rings of the 5 people of the Mystic Academy and quickly left with Qiuqiu. Lu Ming had to return to the tribe of the descendants of the ancient gods to inform them of the news. From the information that he had gathered, Lu Ming came to a conclusion. The door to the outside world had not been opened yet. Lu Ming went south and finally returned to the 8th tribe 7 days later. Lu Ming is back. Lu Ming's return caused a stir. Lu Ming, you're finally back. It seems that you've become stronger. If this continues, I'm afraid that I won't be able to defeat you soon. When Gu Hongshan saw Lu Ming, he patted Lu Ming's shoulder and laughed. There was a look of relief in his eyes. He was worried about Lu Ming going to the northern wasteland devil field. Lu Ming felt warm in his heart. He quickly said, "Where's the chief? I have something important to tell you." Something important? Come with me. Gu Hongshan nodded and led Lu Ming into the tribe. Soon, they saw the chief of the 8th tribe in a huge stone house. The chief of the 8th tribe smiled and said, "Lu Ming, you said that you have something urgent to tell me. What's the matter?" "Chief, I've discovered a big secret in the northern wasteland devil field." The outsiders have joined forces with the Demon Beast Alliance to attack our 10 tribes. Lu Ming told him the news he had heard. What? The chief of the 8th tribe, Gu Hongshan, and the others were shocked. Lu Ming, is what you said true? The chief of the 8th tribe asked seriously. It's absolutely true. I overheard it from a few outsiders. Lu Ming said. Quick, spread the news to the other 9 tribes. Also, summon all the tribesmen who are training outside and prepare for the war. The chief of the 8th tribe gave the order without hesitation. Yes. Gu Hongshan and several other high-level officials accepted the order and then left to make arrangements. Baidu search 81 Chinese website. No advertising message. Chapter 2848. After that, Lu Ming also left. The other 9 tribes of the ancient god descendants also started to prepare for war after receiving the news. They gathered all the powerful clansmen back and set up heavy defenses around the tribes. The demons in the northern wasteland demonic plane were very terrifying and powerful. There were many demon kings and their overall strength was similar to the 10 tribes of the ancient god descendants. That was why the 2 sides had been fighting for so long and neither side could defeat the other. However, if the experts from the Qin Tian star field joined in, the balance would be broken. More than a dozen god kings had come from the Qin Tian star field. Moreover, they were all extremely powerful existences. More than a dozen powerful divine kings and countless heavenly gods joined forces with the demons from the northern wasteland devil plains. It was enough to annihilate the descendants of the ancient gods. This was a life and death crisis for the ancient god descendants. The 10 tribes were nervously preparing for war. Half a month had passed, but there was no movement in the northern wasteland demonic plane. There's no movement until now. Is the news fake? Yeah. Have we been fooled? Some of the people in the 10 tribes started to discuss. But, roar. The roars of demons came from the north, completely destroying the doubtful opinions. Countless demons emerged from the northern wasteland demonic plane and attacked the 10 tribes of the ancient god descendants. The experts from the Qin Tian star field could also be seen among the demons. Boom! Outside the 8th tribe, countless demons rushed toward the 8th tribe. There were so many of them that it was more than the number of demons that besieged the Ice Soul clan's base a few decades ago. Roar! A few earth-shattering roars could be heard from the back of the army of the monster race and demon race. A few gigantic creatures could be seen looming in the distant void. However, the terrifying aura they exuded made everyone feel as though they were suffocating. That was the Demon King. The Demon King was equivalent to the King of Gods, the existence of the Divine King realm. Kill. Defeat the descendants of the ancient god for me. All the descendants of the ancient god will be at your disposal. A Demon King's voice spread across the battlefield. It was said that once the demons devoured the descendants of the ancient god and merged with the blood of the ancient god descendants, they would be able to develop spiritual intelligence. Now, the demons in the northern wasteland devil plane that had gained sentience had devoured the descendants of the ancient gods. It was no wonder that the demons had joined forces with the experts from the Qin Tian starfield. They had benefited from each other. The demons wanted to devour the descendants of the ancient gods, while the experts of the Qin Tian starfield wanted the treasures of the ancient gods. Rumble roar roar countless demons roared and charged toward the 8th tribe with bloodshot eyes. Kill, kill all these demons. The warriors of the 8th tribe roared. They stood on the city wall, took out their big bows, and shot out arrows one after another. These arrows were extremely powerful. Some of the stronger demons had their bodies pierced by the arrows and were nailed to the ground. However, the number of fiendish demons was endless. They continued to attack like a tidal wave. Soon, the 2 sides were engaged in close combat. Every descendant of the ancient gods who could transform into an ancient god body did so. On the city wall of the 8th tribe, tall and majestic figures appeared one after another. They roared and brandished all kinds of weapons, fighting with the fiendish demons. Lu Ming also transformed into an ancient god body and stabbed out with his long spear, killing the fiendish demons one after another. Roar! An earth-shattering roar was heard. The Demon King attacked from the sky. A terrifying aura covered the sky. It was extremely terrifying. Kill! A few figures rushed out from the 8th tribe. They were all over 100 meters tall. They were the divine kings of the 8th tribe. The divine kings from both sides engaged in a terrifying battle in the sky. It was hard to tell who would win. However, after a while, a figure the size of an ordinary person came from afar, exuding a terrifying aura. Divine King, another divine king. The divine king of the Mystic Academy. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes. Lu Ming was very familiar with this divine king. He was the one who led the people of the Mystic Academy to the Ice Soul Tribe's base to kill Lu Ming. Lu Ming would never forget. When the God Kings of the Hybrid Demon Academy joined the battle, the situation immediately shifted in favor of the monster demons. The God Kings of the 8th tribe were gradually losing ground. In the end, the divine kings of the 8th tribe could only retreat. They returned to the 8th tribe and activated the Grand Array to fend off the fiendish demons' attack. The 8th tribe managed to fend off the fiendish demons' attack with the help of the Grand Array. Swoosh! Outside the Grand Array, a few giant demon kings and the divine kings of the Mystic Academy stood outside and watched coldly. Suddenly, another tall figure walked over from another direction. The divine king of the invincible Kenzo. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes. Another divine king had arrived. The number of divine kings of the 8th tribe was no longer comparable to the divine kings of the 8th tribe. Attack! Break their Grand Array! The divine king of the invincible Kenzo said coldly. Then, a terrifying sword light soared into the sky and slashed at the 8th tribe as if it was going to split the universe in half. Rumble. The sword light slashed at the Grand Array, causing it to shake violently. Attack. At the same time, a few demon kings and the divine kings of the Mystic Academy also attacked. All kinds of terrifying attacks landed on the Grand Array, causing it to shake violently. If the divine kings of the 8th tribe did not work together to control the Grand Array would have been broken under the attacks of so many divine kings. Even so, it was still very difficult for them to withstand the attacks. Rumble. Outside, the attacks were relentless. After more than an hour, the attacks finally stopped. Retreat. Then, a demon king gave an order. Countless demon kings retreated and stood in the distance, looking coldly at the 8th tribe. The fiendish demons did not give up. They retreated just to recuperate. When they recovered to their peak state, they would definitely continue to attack. Sure enough, 2 days later, the fiendish demons, the Mystic Academy, and the invincible Kenzo launched another attack. After attacking for a while, they retreated again to recuperate. We can't go on like this. The energy of the Grand Array will be depleted sooner or later. If the Grand Array is broken, we won't be able to stop them. In the 8th tribe, a group of experts gathered together to discuss matters. An elder sighed and said, "What should we do? Is our tribe really going to be wiped out this time?" Another elder said with a sorrowful expression, "Our tribe must not be wiped out. In our current situation, we can only retreat to the first tribe and ally with the first tribe. Only then will we have a chance to survive." The chief of the 8th tribe said, "What do you mean by retreat? Are we going to give up our ancestral land that has been passed down for countless years?" Someone said with a trembling voice. The ancestral land of the 8th tribe had been passed down for countless years. There were all kinds of cultivation, sacred grounds and blood pools. It was the root of their tribe's prosperity. It would be a great loss to give it up. Chapter 28:49. No matter how important the ancestral land is, we need people to be alive. Only when people are alive can we ensure the survival of the tribe. The chief of the 8th tribe said with a firm voice. The other chief elders all sighed. In fact, not only the 8th tribe, some other tribes should also prepare to retreat to the first tribe. The first tribe is the strongest among the 10 tribes. Only by uniting all the tribes can we compete with the demons and outsiders. Otherwise, we will be defeated one by one. The chief of the 8th tribe said again. Okay, I agree to retreat. Me too. In the end, all the founding elders nodded and agreed to retreat. In such a situation, only by retreating could they survive. Otherwise, they would die sooner or later. Prepare to retreat. The order of the chief of the 8th tribe was soon spread throughout the tribe. Although many people were unwilling, there was nothing they could do. They had to retreat. The grand formation continued to be activated. All the people of the 8th tribe retreated to the first tribe through another exit. Lu Ming followed the army. The first tribe was the strongest among the 10 tribes. It was also the tribe with the longest history. It was said that it was close to the core area of the descendants of the ancient god clan. Lu Ming had come here to find experts to spar with. Without a doubt, the first tribe was also caught in the flames of war. However, the people of the other tribes kept retreating to the first tribe, which greatly increased the strength of the first tribe and finally stabilized the situation. But relatively speaking, the demons that besieged the other tribes also gathered. The first tribe was also facing a big problem and had to activate the grand formation to resist. As time went by, all the tribes retreated to the first tribe. Needless to say, those tribes were all occupied by the demons and the Qin Tian 13 sects. The people of the Qin Tian 13 sects, the Ice Soul tribe, and the Flaming tribe are almost all here. Standing on the majestic city wall, Lu Ming looked outside and saw the Qin Tian 13 sects, the Ice Soul tribe, and the Flaming tribe. However, he did not see any familiar faces. For example, Ouyang Qingxiang, Yu Linglong, and Bing Qing. Outside the first tribe, the demons were roaring and attacking desperately. On this day, Gu Hongshan found Lu Ming. Lu Ming, the chiefs are looking for you. Gu Hongshan said. The various patriarchs are looking for me. Lu Ming was a little stunned. The chiefs of the major tribes wanted to see him. What do you want with him? I'm not sure either. The patriarch told me to look for you. Gu Hongshan was also confused. Let's go. Lu Ming nodded and followed Gu Hongshan to a huge stone palace. Lu Ming, go in alone. You can't go in without my orders. Gu Hongshan said. All right. Lu Ming nodded and walked into the main hall, puzzled. In the main hall, there were 2 rows of seats, each occupied by some people. Above, there was another person sitting on the main seat. These people all looked rather old, but their auras were exceptionally powerful. They were as unfathomable as the abyss. There were 10 people in total, including the chief of the 8th tribe. Patriarchs of the 10 major tribes of the ancient god clan. Lu Ming understood that these were the chiefs of the top 10 tribes of the ancient god clan. Lu Ming greets the chiefs. May I know why you're looking for me? Lu Ming brought his fists together and said to the 10 chiefs. Their eyes scanned Lu Ming as if they were trying to see through Lu Ming. Lu Ming, you're not a descendant of the ascetic cultivators, but an outsider. Suddenly, the chief of the first tribe spoke, which made Lu Ming's heart beat rapidly. Exposed. Lu Ming's first reaction was that his identity had been exposed. What should he do? Lu Ming thought quickly, but he did not say anything. Lu Ming, although you can fool others, you can't fool us. Your tricks show that you're from the outside world. You should be from the tribe guarding the world gate. The chief of the first tribe spoke again. The other 9 chiefs looked at Lu Ming with bright eyes. What do you mean by guarding the world gate? Are they talking about the descendants of the ancient god mountain? That must be the case. The bronze gate is the world gate they're talking about. The descendants of the ancient god mountain are guarding that gate. In an instant, many thoughts flashed through Lu Ming's mind. He nodded and said, not bad. I knew you were from the guardian tribe. But it's been so many years. Is your tribe still doing well? Asked the first tribe chief. Lu Ming shook his head. Not good. My tribe is very weak in the outside world, and many of our inheritances have been lost. I don't even know many things about the descendants of the ancient god mountain. Since they thought he was from the guardian tribe, then he might as well pretend to be from that tribe. Furthermore, Lu Ming had interacted with that tribe before. If they didn't even know about the Bronze Gate, then they probably didn't know about the world and secrets behind it. Clearly, too much time had passed, and many of their inheritances had been lost. No wonder. But it's been so long. It's lucky that your tribe still exists. The 10 tribe chiefs nodded, agreeing with Lu Ming's words. Apart from that tribe, who else could condense the heart of the ancient god? This was also the reason why they let Lu Ming stay here, and even taught Lu Ming the ancient god technique. After all, the guardian tribe outside was also a descendant of the ancient god mountain. Tribe chiefs, I'm looking for Lu Ming today because of this matter. Lu Ming asked again. That was because he had a feeling that the gathering of the 10 clan chiefs was not as simple as it seemed. No, we're looking for you because of another matter. The first tribe chief paused for a moment, then said, we need your help. My help? Lu Ming was stunned. These tribe chiefs were all divine kings. Why would they need a true god's help? Lu Ming was puzzled. Right now, my tribe is facing the joint attack of the demons and outsiders. The situation is very unfavorable. If this continues, my tribe won't be able to hold on for long. The first tribe chief said. Lu Ming didn't say anything and listened quietly. He knew that the other party had more to say. Now, there's only one way to save my tribe and defeat the enemies, and that is to awaken the ancestor's spirit. The first tribe chief said. Awaken the ancestor's spirit? Lu Ming was puzzled. Yes, in the center of my tribe, there's an ancestral land. Legend has it that the ancestor's spirit of the ancient god is sealed there. As long as the seal is broken, the ancestor's spirit will be able to come out. The souls of our ancestors have terrifying power. If we set up a formation to control them, it will be enough to repel the attacks of the demons and outsiders. It might even be possible to completely eliminate the threat of the demons in the northern wasteland. The first tribe chief said. Chapter 2850. Seniors, what do you need me to do? How can I release the ancestor's spirit? Lu Ming asked. The ancestor's soul is sealed in a bronze altar in the ancestral land. This bronze altar is located in the depths of a devil lake. That devil lake contains a mysterious power. The stronger one's cultivation base is, the stronger the repulsive force will be. The weaker one's cultivation base is, the weaker the repulsive force will be. Furthermore, only those with a strong ancient god bloodline can enter. Since ancient times, none of the descendants of the ancient gods have been able to step into the bottom of the devil lake and release the ancestor's spirit. And you awakened the green-armored ancient god physique the moment you awakened it. This is unprecedented in the history of the descendants of the ancient gods. Only you can enter the bottom of the devil lake, break the seal, and release the ancestor's spirit. The first patriarch explained in detail. Lu Ming finally understood. It turned out that the ancestral land of the descendants of the ancient gods was located in a devil lake. The repulsive force of the devil lake differed depending on one's cultivation. The stronger one's cultivation, the stronger the repulsive force. It was no wonder that even the divine king couldn't do it and had to beg Lu Ming. Patriarchs, I can enter the ancestral land and release the ancestor's spirit, but if I succeed, you have to promise me one thing. Lu Ming pondered for a moment and said. What is it? The first patriarch asked. To be honest, I have some friends in the outside world. Some of them came to this world this time. My condition is that if I release the ancestor's spirit, you have to promise not to harm my friends. Lu Ming said. He was still worried about Ouyang Qingxiang, Yu Linglong, and the others. That's simple. What do your friends look like? When we see them, we can let them go. That's right. The 10 patriarchs nodded. This was a small matter to them. Thank you, patriarchs. Lu Ming cupped his fists in thanks. Then he took out a jade talisman and described Ouyang Qingxiang, Yu Linglong, Wu Zifeng, and Hai, and the others' appearances and auras. Then he handed it over to the 10 patriarchs. All right, Lu Ming, come with us. The first clan leader took the lead and walked towards the back of the stone hall. Lu Ming and the others followed. After passing through a secret passage, they arrived at a barren land. Lu Ming, if you continue walking along this barren land, you will be able to see the Devil Lake. This place already has a strong repulsive force, so we won't enter. The first clan leader said. All right. Lu Ming nodded and then stepped out, walking alone into the depths of the barren land. Let's hope he succeeds. Once the souls of our ancestors are released, our race will truly be free of worries and become stronger and stronger. All right, let's go set up the formation. The 10 patriarchs sighed softly, revealing a look of anticipation. Then, they left to set up the formation. Once the souls of their ancestors were released, they would be able to control the souls of their ancestors. Lu Ming walked alone in the barren land. As soon as he entered, he felt a repulsive force acting on his body, as if it wanted to expel him. Roar! A roar came from Lu Ming's body. The ancient god's heart thumped loudly, and a rich ancient god aura spread out. The repulsive force actually disappeared without a trace. Lu Ming walked on the barren land with ease. The barren land was really a barren land. It was dead silent, and there was nothing in it. Lu Ming began to speed up and continued to fly forward. This area was surprisingly large. About half an hour later, a lake appeared in front of him. The lake wasn't big, but it was very strange because the lake water was pitch black. Along the way, Lu Ming had seen many strange things. He did not take it to heart. He circulated his divine power and surrounded his body. At the same time, he cast the 9-layered crimson gold armor. A crimson gold battle armor appeared on his body. Splash! Lu Ming jumped into the lake. Suddenly, Lu Ming felt a powerful force coming from all directions toward Lu Ming, trying to expel Lu Ming. It was the same repulsive force, but the force in the lake was 100 times stronger than outside. Lu Ming's protective divine power and the 9-layer scarlet golden armor had no effect on this repulsive force. Lu Ming was almost expelled. Dong dong dong, at the critical moment, the ancient god's heart beat rapidly, emitting a rich ancient god aura. As soon as the ancient god aura came out, the repulsive force outside weakened a lot, allowing Lu Ming to barely withstand it. Go down. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He adjusted his body and dived toward the bottom of the lake. As Lu Ming went deeper, the repulsive force at the bottom of the lake became stronger. After diving for a few thousand meters, the repulsive force had reached an astonishing level. Even the aura of the ancient god's heart couldn't withstand it. Ancient god tactic. At this moment, Lu Ming used the ancient god tactic. His body swelled rapidly, transforming into the body of an ancient god. After transforming into the body of an ancient god, Lu Ming's resistance increased greatly. He blocked the repulsive force around him and began to dive faster. The demon lake was very deep. Lu Ming dived for 8,000 meters before he finally reached the bottom of the lake. A bronze altar. Lu Ming thought. The bottom of the lake was pitch black. Even if Lu Ming circulated his divine power, his vision could only see a few dozen meters away. Lu Ming still had to slowly search for it himself. Immediately, Lu Ming began to search at the bottom of the lake. After searching for more than an hour, he still found nothing. Why isn't there anything? Lu Ming frowned and continued to search patiently. That is, suddenly, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He saw a ray of light in front of him. It was a metallic luster. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Perhaps, he had found the bronze altar. Lu Ming strode forward. However, when he got closer, Lu Ming was disappointed. It wasn't a bronze altar at all. It was a bronze coffin. A purple bronze coffin that was emitting a dim luster. It looked extremely old and ancient. Lu Ming was speechless to find a purple bronze coffin at the bottom of the demon lake. I want to eat, Qiuqiu's voice rang out. He actually pounced on the purple bronze coffin, opened his fangs, and bit the top of the coffin. Crack. The sound of metal breaking could be heard. However, it wasn't the purple bronze coffin that broke. It was Qiuqiu's fangs. Qiuqiu's teeth shattered all over the floor. It hurts so much. What is this thing? It's too hard. Qiuqiu jumped back onto Lu Ming's wrist and turned into a bracelet that trembled. Lu Ming was shocked. Lu Ming was very clear how good Qiuqiu's teeth were. Any metal that fell into his mouth would make a crunching sound. Even the many god kings were unable to damage the bronze door at all. Qiuqiu could still bite off a piece of it. However, Qiuqiu was unable to bite through the copper coffin at all. It did not even leave behind a single tooth mark. Chapter 28:51. Amazing, this purple copper coffin is amazing. Lu Ming exclaimed, and his eyes lit up. The material of this purple copper coffin was definitely amazing. It was probably even better than the bronze door. Who is buried in this purple copper coffin? Could it be an ancient god? Lu Ming began to think. However, he did not have an answer. Forget it. Since I've found it, I'll take it away first and study it later. Lu Ming made up his mind. As a cultivator, there was nothing taboo about going against heaven. Since it was a treasure, he should not miss it. Lu Ming tested it and found that the purple copper coffin was not dangerous, so he was relieved. He held the purple copper coffin with both hands and wanted to put it into his storage ring. However, it did not move at all. Lu Ming could not carry it. Lu Ming was now in the state of the ancient god body. His strength was so strong that Lu Ming could even lift a continuous mountain range in the primitive universe, let alone a copper coffin. However, Lu Ming could not lift it no matter how hard he tried. I'd better put it in my storage ring. Lu Ming thought and took out a storage ring. A strong suction force appeared and shrouded the purple copper coffin. Whoosh! The purple copper coffin was indeed sucked into the storage ring. It worked. Lu Ming was overjoyed. However, before he could rejoice, the storage ring suddenly emitted a cracking sound. Cracks appeared on the surface of the storage ring. Then, with a bang, the storage ring exploded. Boom! The purple copper coffin fell to the bottom of the lake again with a loud bang. The bottom of the lake shook violently a few times. It crushed the storage ring? Lu Ming was dumbfounded. Back then, when Lu Ming obtained that ball of cold liquid, the cold liquid relied on the extreme cold power to freeze and shatter the storage ring. Now, the purple copper coffin was able to crush a storage ring with its weight alone. Lu Ming was speechless. However, this was also the reason why Lu Ming's storage ring wasn't high enough. If he took out the storage rings used by god kings, he might be able to store it. More importantly, Lu Ming didn't have such a high-grade storage ring. What should we do? Don't tell me you can't take it away. Lu Ming was speechless. Back then, Lu Ming had been able to refine the icy liquid with the ice shackles. However, Lu Ming wasn't able to refine the copper coffin. Kid, use this picture scroll. There's a space within the picture scroll. It should be able to hold it. At this moment, Gumo's voice sounded. Why didn't you say so earlier? Lu Ming was speechless. If you didn't ask, why should I tell you? Bone said disdainfully. Lu Ming was speechless. Then, Lu Ming controlled the picture scroll to fly out and roll it toward the copper coffin. As expected, the copper coffin was sucked in. Lu Ming waited for a while. The painting was safe and sound. There were no problems. Lu Ming was overjoyed and put the picture scroll away. Then, Lu Ming began to search at the bottom of the lake. Another hour passed. Found it. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He finally saw a bronze altar. The altar was as tall as a person and was made of bronze. It was very similar to the material of the bronze gate. However, it looked very old and had no spirituality. The first clan leader said that I can break this altar with the ancient god body and release the ancient god soul. I don't know if it's true. Let's give it a try. Lu Ming pondered. He then took a step forward and punched the altar. Boom! The altar shook and runes appeared on it. These runes intertwined to form a formation. However, this formation did not stop Lu Ming at all. Lu Ming's fist went through the formation and hit the altar. It's working. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He guessed that if it was not someone from the ancient god tribe, the formation would have blocked it. However, if it was someone from the ancient god tribe, the formation would be fine. Or, if it was someone with a strong ancient god bloodline, the formation would not block it. Boom! Boom! Lu Ming threw out continuous punches. His huge fists bombarded the altar continuously. The altar kept shaking. Soon, a cracking sound came from the altar. Lu Ming saw that there was a crack on it. Roar! Suddenly, a roar came from the altar, and a strong ancient god aura came out of the crack. It's really the ancient god soul. Continue. Lu Ming continued to bombard the altar. Finally, there was a loud bang and the altar exploded. Roar! An earth-shattering roar came out. At the same time, a powerful aura soared into the sky. Then, Lu Ming saw a huge figure appear between heaven and earth. Splash! This figure was simply too huge. Just the soles of its feet were already taller than the 8,000-meter lake. The water of the entire lake was stirred up into the sky and disappeared. Lu Ming discovered that he had appeared in a huge pit. An ancient god stood between heaven and earth. It was really an ancient god. This ancient god was indomitable. It was at least 1,000,000 meters tall, and its body was covered in black scales. This is the ancient god's soul? It's too big. Oh my god. Lu Ming sucked in a breath of cold air. Boy, you really haven't seen the world. This is nothing. Let me tell you, this is just a wisp of the ancient god's remnant soul. A real ancient god is much bigger than this. Much, much bigger. Do you understand? Quantum Formula seized the opportunity to mock Lu Ming. How big is it? Lu Ming asked subconsciously. Your planet of life must be very big. I have seen an ancient god whose fist is bigger than your planet of life. Quantum Formula said. His fist is bigger than a planet of life? Lu Ming was really speechless. It was too terrifying. He was afraid that a planet would explode with one punch. And the huge ancient god in front of him was just a wisp of the ancient god's remnant soul. Why are his scales black? Lu Ming was puzzled. According to the ancient god's tactics, the highest level of cultivation should be the purple scales. But the scales on the surface of the ancient god's remnant soul were black. It's normal. This is the original color of this ancient god. The ancient god tactics you cultivate to purple scales is far from the peak. After cultivating to the peak, they will also be black, but the power at that time, TSK, will be amazing. Quantum Formula said. It turns out that purple scales are not the highest level. Lu Ming looked expectant. If he cultivated the ancient god tactics to the highest level and his scales turned black, would he have the power of an ancient god? Exploding a planet with one punch, that kind of strength was really terrifying. Roar! The ancient god's soul roared, shaking the heavens and the earth. The entire world was shaking. Then, the ancient god's soul stepped out and walked in the direction of the first tribe. Chapter 28:52. At this time, somewhere in the first tribe, the 10 patriarchs had gathered. They had already set up a large formation. Suddenly, the 10 patriarchs looked in the direction of the barren land with ecstasy on their faces. Success, Lu Ming has succeeded. Ha ha ha, the ancestral spirit has come out. Our ancient ancestors sealed the ancestral spirit with the purpose of protecting our tribe when we face a crisis. Now, it has finally come out. The 10 patriarchs were overjoyed. At the same time, they secretly rejoiced. The ancestral spirit was sealed by the Almighty of the ancient god descendants. The purpose was to prevent the ancient god tribe from facing a great calamity in the future. However, the ancient god tribe had withered until now, and no one could break the seal. This time, if it weren't for Lu Ming, even if they had the ancestral spirit, they wouldn't have been able to release it. Boom! Boom! The ancestral spirit stepped on the ground. Every step it took caused the ground to rumble as it walked out. This also alarmed the people in the ancient god tribe. What's going on? Why is there a violent vibration in the depths of the tribe? Did something happen in the depths of the tribe? Many of the ancient god descendants were a little flustered. Don't worry, this is the ancestral spirit released by the patriarchs to deal with external enemies. Don't worry. A senior figure comforted the crowd, and everyone was relieved. In the barren land, Lu Ming watched the ancestral spirit slowly walk away. He was about to follow it to see what was going on. I want to eat, Chiu shouted and flew out. He grabbed a piece of broken bronze from the bronze altar and ate it. Crunch, crunch, Chiu ate with relish. Soon, a piece of bronze was finished by Chiu. Then, he rushed to another piece and ate it. This ball is really lucky. This bronze is not inferior to the bronze of the Bronze Gate. After he digests it, I'm afraid he will be greatly improved. Guemo said with some envy. Lu Ming was also overjoyed. He waited here with peace of mind. The ancestral spirit walked step by step, and soon, it was not far from the first tribe. Formation, activate. The 10 patriarchs activated the array at the same time. The array emitted boundless light, and in the end, an ancient god phantom condensed. This ancient god phantom turned into a ray of light and flew towards the ancient god's soul. Finally, it entered the ancient god's soul's forehead and disappeared. Souls of the ancient gods, kill! Shouted the chief of the first tribe. They controlled the grand spell formation, and then the souls of the ancient gods stepped into the air and headed out of the first tribe. That is, an ancient god? All the descendants of the ancient god were shocked as they watched the soul of the ancient god fly out of the first tribe and rush towards the army of demons. What's that? At this moment, the demons and the outsiders were all astonished. Roar! The soul of the ancient god roared, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. Amidst the roar, mountains began to crumble. Boom! Then, the soul of the ancient god attacked and slapped the fiendish demon army. The palm of the ancient god's soul was enormous. With a single slap, at least tens of thousands of fiendish demons were smashed into meat paste. Ancient god's soul. It's the ancient god's soul. Damn it! A fiendish demon king roared. So what if it's the ancient god's soul? Watch me destroy it. A tiger-shaped demon king, whose body was so huge that it looked like a mountain, stared ferociously at the ancient god's soul. Whoosh! In the next moment, the tiger-shaped demon king pounced on the ancient god's soul, bringing with it an endless gust of wind. This demon king was extremely ferocious and wanted to tear the ancient god's soul to shreds. Although his body was not as tall as the ancient god's soul's knees, his aura was monstrous. Kill! The ancient god's soul shouted coldly and pressed down with its palm. This palm directly broke all the tiger-shaped demon king's attacks. It pressed the tiger-shaped demon king's body to the ground as if it was a toad. Rumble! The ground exploded, creating a huge crater. Countless fiendish demons on the side were affected and died tragically. Ah! The tiger-shaped demon king screamed and vomited blood. It was severely injured in an instant. At this moment, countless fiendish demons, demon kings, and the god kings of Qin Tian Star Field were all shocked. That demon king was a god king expert, but it was suppressed just like that. Quick, come and save me, save me. The tiger-shaped demon king screamed in horror. Kill. The ancient god's soul shouted. It grabbed the tiger-shaped demon king with both hands and tore it with all its might. The tiger-shaped demon king's soul was destroyed by the terrifying power. Dead. A demon king was killed just like that. Countless fiendish demons, demon kings, and the experts of Qin Tian Star Field were all shocked. Roar. The ancient god's soul roared and stepped forward. It clenched its fists and punched out continuously. A large number of fiendish demons were directly blasted into pieces. Run, run quickly. Countless fiendish demons fled frantically. Want to escape? Kill, kill, kill. In the first tribe, the 10 patriarchs shouted in unison. They controlled the ancient god's soul to kill the demon kings and the god kings of Qin Tian Star Field. The ancient god's soul was too powerful. It was so powerful that it could destroy heaven and earth. With a punch, it killed a demon king in the air. Run, run, this time, the demon kings and the god kings of Qin Tian Star Field were all frightened and fled for their lives. The ancient god's soul ignored the ordinary fiendish demons and focused on the demon kings and the god kings of Qin Tian Star Field. Bam! Bam! The soul of an ancient god could kill a god king with a single punch. With 2 consecutive punches, another 2 demons were killed. After that, it set its sights on a god king from the Qin Heavenly Star Field and chased after him. No, no, this god king was the one from the Mystic Academy. At this moment, he was extremely frightened and was running for his life. However, how could his speed be compared to the ancient god's soul? The ancient god's soul caught up with him in a few steps and punched with both fists. Bam! Bam! The god king of the Mystic Academy was smashed into the ground by the ancient god's soul. He coughed out blood and his body almost cracked. It had to be said that the godly monarchs that had come from the Qin Sky Star domain this time were all extremely strong. The other demons were killed by the ancient god's souls with 1 punch each. However, the godly monarchs of the Hybrid Demon Academy were still alive after 2 punches. However, he was severely injured and on the verge of death. Save me! Save me! The god king of the Mystic Academy screamed in agony. He wanted to call for help. However, the others were all running for their lives. Who would care about him? Bam! Then, the ancient god's soul took a step forward and stomped on the body of the god king of the Mystic Academy. This time, the god king was stomped into meat paste. He was dead. Then, the ancient god's soul continued to chase after the other experts. The next one was the god king of the invincible Kenzo. This person was also very powerful. Unfortunately, he did not manage to escape and was killed by the ancient god's soul. He followed in the footsteps of the god king of the Mystic Academy. Chapter 28:53. The ancient god's soul was invincible and powerful. Coupled with its incredible speed, it could easily kill ordinary supreme beings. In just a short while, 10 supreme beings and 5 supreme beings from the Qin Tian Starfield had been killed by the ancient god's soul. Boom! The ancient god's soul charged towards another supreme being. It was the supreme being from the Ice Soul tribe. I'm doomed. The supreme being from the Ice Soul tribe roared in his heart, thinking that he was doomed. However, when the ancient god's soul arrived before him, it did not continue to attack. Instead, it glanced at him coldly before actually charging past him and killing the god king from the Flare clan. In just a few moves, the god king from the Flare clan was killed. The supreme being from the Ice Soul tribe was exhausted after surviving the ordeal. At the same time, he was puzzled. Why didn't the ancient god's soul kill me? That's strange. Forget it, I'll retreat with my tribesmen. The supreme being from the Ice Soul tribe secretly rejoiced. Then, he quickly left with some of his tribesmen and fled in the direction of the base they had built. Naturally, he did not know that the reason the ancient god's soul did not kill him was because of Lu Ming. Previously, Lu Ming had given the images of the people he wanted to protect to the 10 tribe leaders. The 10 tribe leaders could control the ancient god's soul and see what the ancient god's soul could see. The supreme being from the Ice Soul tribe was one of the images Lu Ming had described. That was why the ancient god's soul did not kill him. Kill all the demons. At this moment, an elder from the first tribe roared. Kill. Then, the army of the ancient god's descendants swarmed out and charged towards the army of demons. At this moment, the army of demons was defeated. They could not resist and fled in all directions. Soon, the army of the ancient god's descendants caught up and killed them. The supreme beings from the 10 tribes cooperated with the ancient god's soul to kill the demon kings and supreme beings from the Qin Tian starfield. It was a massacre that lasted for half a day before it came to an end. As the ancient god's soul was too far away from the first tribe, it was difficult for the 10 tribe leaders to control it. The army of the ancient god's tribe returned to the capital. The first tribe was in a sea of cheers. It was a glorious battle. More than 20 fiendish demon kings were killed. The total number of demon kings in the northern wasteland Devil Plain was only around 40. More than half of them had died, and the demon kings were greatly weakened. They were no longer a match for the descendants of the ancient gods. More than 10 god kings from the Qin heavenly star field also died. The others had all fled. When Lu Ming came out of the barren land, there were celebrations everywhere in the first tribe. Looks like it's a huge victory. Lu Ming smiled. Afterwards, the 10 tribe leaders met with Lu Ming and expressed their gratitude to him. They even gave Lu Ming a pile of heavenly treasures, including many ancient divine flowers. Lu Ming naturally accepted them without any hesitation. Not long after, the armies of the other tribes began to return to their own tribes. Lu Ming also returned to the 8th tribe. The demons of the 8th tribe and the experts of the Qin heavenly star field had already left. The 8th tribe was in a mess. All the treasures had been plundered. Even the blood pool had been plundered, and it had almost dried up. Someone entered the blood pool to awaken the ancient god body. The leader of the 8th tribe frowned. Lu Ming was shocked and said, "Can someone who is not a descendant of the ancient gods awaken the ancient god body?" However, Lu Ming immediately thought of himself. He himself was not a descendant of the ancient gods. After a series of opportunities, he also awakened the ancient god body at a surprisingly high level. Yes, but it's very difficult. Talent, willpower, and opportunities are all indispensable. The leader of the 8th tribe nodded. Then he ordered his subordinates to organize the 8th tribe. Lu Ming stayed in the 8th tribe for another 10 days. At this time, Lu Ming said goodbye to the leader of the 8th tribe. After all, he did not belong here. Sooner or later, he would have to leave. Lu Ming, it's been hard on you to guard the gate of this world. If there's a chance in the future, send some talents here to cultivate. The leader of the 8th tribe said. Okay, thank you, leader. Lu Ming nodded. He wondered if the leader of the 8th tribe would slap him to death if he knew that he was not a descendant of the ancient gods. After that, Lu Ming said goodbye to Gu Ming, Gu Hongshan, and the others. Then he went alone in the direction where they first entered this world. Nothing happened along the way. Half a month later, Lu Ming returned to the base of the Ice Soul clan. Another base had been built here. The people of the Ice Soul clan were guarding this place. During this time, the 10 tribes of the ancient gods' descendants did not pursue the experts of the Qin Tian star field. During this time, the army of the 10 tribes went north and fought with the remaining forces of the demons. Who is it? Someone shouted as soon as Lu Ming approached. It was a critical time. The people of the Ice Soul clan were on high alert. "It's me, Lu Ming. I want to see your ninth young lord," Lu Ming said loudly. "It's you, young Lord Lu Ming." The people of the Ice Soul clan recognized Lu Ming. "Wait a moment. We'll go and report to the ninth young lord." The people of the Ice Soul clan went in to report. Soon, Bing Qing flew out with her people. Lu Ming was relieved to see that Bing Qing was fine. "Lu Ming, you're fine. That's great." Bing Qing was happy to see Lu Ming. "Brother Bing, how have you been all these years?" Lu Ming and Bing Qing entered the base and chatted. After chatting, Lu Ming learned a little about Bing Qing's experience over the years. Back then, after they were separated, Bing Qing followed a few experts from the Ice Soul clan and hid in the forest. Later on, after the Ice Soul clan's divine king gathered them, they gathered together and acted in secret. Later on, they participated in besieging the descendants of the ancient god. After they were defeated, Lu Ming fled to this place and had been vigilant. This time, the major forces of the Qin Tian star field suffered heavy losses in the attack on the descendants of the ancient god. There were 15 forces and 15 divine kings. 10 of them died in the battle and only 5 survived. Fortunately, the divine king of the Ice Soul clan is still alive. "We're so lucky." Bing Qing sighed. Lu Ming smiled. He knew what was going on and did not say much. Later, Lu Ming learned that the divine kings of the Mystic Academy, Invincible Kenzo, and Flaming Flame race were all dead. Lu Ming sneered in his heart. This was just some interest. Lu Ming would not let go of their previous conflict. However, although the major forces suffered heavy losses this time, those who survived also gained a lot. Many of them obtained great opportunities when they attacked the tribes of the ancient god's descendants. Bing Qing said. "Great opportunities?" Lu Ming was puzzled. "Yes. Some of them are so lucky that they cultivated the ancient god's descendants' ultimate technique, the ancient god body. Once they activate it, they can transform into the body of an ancient god and their strength will increase tremendously." Bing Qing explained with envy in her eyes. Chapter 2854. What? Someone has cultivated the ancient god body? Lu Ming was shocked. Lu Ming did not expect that there would be others who had cultivated the ancient god body apart from him. "That's right. As far as I know, there are 4 people who have cultivated the ancient god body. One of them is a divine prince from the imperishable sword sect, one of the holy sons from the alien demon academy, one of the peerless geniuses from the flaming tribe, and the last one is my 7th brother." Bing Qing said. There are actually 4 people who have cultivated the ancient god body. Lu Ming was also secretly amazed by this. Lu Ming knew how difficult it was to cultivate the ancient god body. Even he himself had to go through a series of coincidences, coupled with the help of the quantifying character formula and the bone demon to finally succeed. The fact that the 4 of them were able to cultivate the ancient god body meant that their talents, luck, and opportunities were definitely top-notch. From their names, he knew that the 2 people from the Mystic Academy and the Invincible Kenzo who had cultivated the ancient god body were both divine sons. Those who could be called divine sons were people who had mastered divine-grade divine powers. At the same time, Lu Ming secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Since others could cultivate the ancient god body, he would not have to worry about using the ancient god body in the future. If others could cultivate it, he could cultivate it too. Whoosh! At this moment, there was a burst of cheers from the base of the Ice Soul clan. Then, a few figures flew toward Bing Qing and Lu Ming at a high speed. "What's going on?" Bing Qing asked. "Ninth young lord, there's good news. The gate is open and the exit has appeared. We can go out now." One of them said happily. "The gate is open." Bing Qing's eyes lit up. She was also ecstatic. "That's right. We just received news that the gate is open. Many people are already heading toward the gate." One of them reported. Come, let's go out too. Bing Qing said hurriedly. Needless to say, the divine king of the Ice Soul clan had already ordered everyone to leave. The members of the Ice Soul clan flew toward the exit like a swarm of locusts. He had stayed in this world for dozens of years. During these dozens of years, he had lived in fear and trepidation every day. His life was in danger at every moment. Especially now that they had been defeated, the descendants of the ancient god clan could come to kill them at any time. Now that the gate was open, everyone was excited and couldn't wait to leave. When Lu Ming and the others arrived, the huge vortex in the sky had reappeared. It floated in the air and slowly rotated. Countless figures flew into the whirlpool and disappeared. In just a short while, more than half of the people had entered the exit. Ouyang Qingxiang, Yu Linglong, Lu Ming looked around and saw Ouyang Qingxiang, Yu Linglong, and the others rushing into the vortex. Lu Ming rejoiced in his heart. Ouyang Qingxiang and the others were fine, so he was relieved. Brother Bing, I'll take my leave first. After bidding farewell to Bing Qing, Lu Ming shot into the air and followed Ouyang Qingxiang's group into the vortex. The world spun, and a moment later, Lu Ming discovered that he was back on the ancient god planet. Nearby, he flew out of the Bronze Gate. The Bronze Gate. The moment he saw the Bronze Gate, Lu Ming thought of the red copper coffin and then the altar that sealed the soul of the ancient god. After eating the bronze piece of the altar, Qiuqiu had fallen into a deep slumber, and no one knew when it would wake up. But even if Qiuqiu woke up, it wouldn't be able to eat the Bronze Gate. Many god kings were watching the gate. Lu Ming. Saint. At this moment, a few happy voices could be heard. Then, a few figures flew toward Lu Ming. They were Ouyang Qingxiang, Yu Linglong, Wu Zifeng, and Hai, and Lu Chang. Zhao Feng was nowhere to be seen. It's great that you're all fine. Lu Ming also smiled. Sacred son, alas, Zhao Feng is dead. Lu Chang sighed. Zhao Feng's dead? What happened? Lu Ming hurriedly asked. And Hai, Zhao Feng, and Lu Chang were the first three from the Kongxian school to join Lu Ming. Lu Ming valued them quite a bit. It was the great Sky Saint's son. He was the one who killed Zhao Feng. Some time ago, we were defeated by the ancient god race, so we scattered and fled back to the base. As we approached the base, we ran into the great Sky Saint's son. He suddenly attacked us and killed Zhao Feng. And Hai said angrily. Tianhong, Lu Ming's body suddenly emitted a terrifying killing intent. Lu Ming, I'm sorry. I wanted to stop you, but it was too late. Ouyang Qingxiang said. It's none of your business. Lu Ming waved his hand. With the heavenly Hong Saint's son's cultivation and battle prowess, even Ouyang Qingxiang would find it difficult to stop him if he suddenly wanted to kill someone. Tianhong, you're truly seeking death. Lu Ming's eyes shone with cold light as he asked, where is Tianhong? The chilling killing intent radiating from Lu Ming's body made Ouyang Qingxiang, Yu Linglong, and the others tremble. Lu Ming, don't be rash. Even if we find Tianhong now, we can't do anything to him, Ouyang Qingxiang said. Yes. That's right, sacred son. We must take revenge for Zhao Feng, but not now. And Hai also advised. Tianhong, where is he? Lu Ming's eyes chilled as he asked, his voice resolute and unquestionable. The great Sky Saint's son had attacked him time and time again, wanting to kill him. Lu Ming had wanted to kill him for some time now. Now that the great Sky Saint's son had killed Lu Ming's killing intent toward the great Sky Saint's son had reached its peak. He would avenge this grudge now. Seeing Lu Ming like this, and Hai and Lu Chang hesitated for a moment before pointing in a certain direction. I just saw the great Sky Saint's son leading people in that direction. Very good. Lu Ming coldly said as he stepped into the air and charged in that direction. Let's go. Let's follow. Ouyang Qingxiang grimaced and hastily called for several people to follow. In her mind, although Lu Ming's talent was frightening, he was still no match for the great Sky Saint Sun. After flying for a while, they arrived at a mountain. There were around 7 or 8 people on this mountain. Lu Ming scanned the area, but he did not see the great Sky Saint Sun. However, these people were all from the Tenho Seiko faction, as Lu Ming had seen a few of them before. Boom! Lu Ming charged over, his powerful aura pressing down on the mountain. Lu Ming. It's Lu Ming. Those people on the mountain also saw Lu Ming, and their eyes flashed with murderous intent. Tell me, where is Great Sky Saint Sun? Lu Ming asked coldly. He stood on the mountain peak, looking down at them. Lu Ming, you are really bold. This is the ancient god planet, not the Kongxian school. How dare you look for the saint? An old man sneered. Let me ask you, where is Great Sky Saint Sun? Lu Ming asked again. Brat, what's with your attitude? How dare you talk to me like this? Get down here and kneel down. The old man shouted coldly. His aura surged and condensed into a large hand that grabbed at Lu Ming. Chapter 28:55. The old man from the Tenho Seiko faction gathered a giant hand and grabbed at Lu Ming. They were not in the Kongxian school, so he had no scruples. Lu Ming was courting death by coming to them. Besides, he was treating them with such a superior attitude. How stupid. He wanted to make Lu Ming kneel in front of him and kill Lu Ming. He was a third-level celestial god. Wouldn't it be a piece of cake to deal with Lu Ming? Stop it. Meanwhile, Ouyang Qingxiang and the others had arrived. Ouyang Qingxiang yelled and was about to lend Lu Ming a hand. However, Lu Ming was quicker than her. Buzz! A long spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand, which he swung forward. A giant spear glow burst out and fired at the giant hand that the old man had gathered. Bang! The spear glow collided with the giant hand. The giant hand shuddered vigorously before crumbling into pieces. The spear glow continued to press down on the old man. You! The old man was astounded. He did not expect the giant hand that he had gathered with his third-layer heaven god realm cultivation was shattered by Lu Ming's spear. Mountain-shattering hand. The elder let out a furious roar and unleashed all his divine power. He unleashed a divine skill and blasted out a few consecutive palms. A huge palm print blasted toward Lu Ming. There was a violent explosion before it managed to block Lu Ming's attack. However, Lu Ming had already executed his second attack. Sky-shattering. At this moment, Lu Ming had already activated the quadruple combat power and executed the apocalyptic 3 strikes. A bright spear gleam burst forth and charged toward the elder. Whoosh! The dazzling spear light was like a meteor from outer space, piercing through all of the old man's defenses. Then, the spear light pierced through his body and nailed him to the ground. The old man was not dead yet. He let out a cry of agony as he was nailed to the ground by the spear. At the same time, he was deeply astonished. He was still no match against Lu Ming when he attacked with his full strength. Lu Ming was able to suppress Lu Ming's strength. Had Lu Ming's strength reached such a level? The others, including Ouyang Qingxiang and the others, were stunned too. They did not expect Lu Ming to be so strong. The scene had completely exceeded their expectations. However, Ouyang Qingxiang soon reacted. She stood on the mountain with a flicker and unleashed a powerful aura, suppressing the others from Tianhong faction. They did not dare to move. The strongest among them was only a 4th-layer heaven god realm cultivator. They were no match against Ouyang Qingxiang. Speak, Tianhong, where is he? Lu Ming asked again in a cold voice. Holy Sun, the Holy Sun has already returned to the profound sky sect. The old Tianhong, the sun. I went back first. Very well, I'll send you on your way. Lu Ming said coldly. No, the old man roared and struggled. However, Lu Ming's spear shook and a terrifying energy burst out from the old man's body. Bang! The old man's body was torn into pieces and he died on the spot. The others from Tianhong faction were pale and they were drenched in cold sweat. They were afraid that Lu Ming would kill them too. Get lost. Lu Ming waved his hand and put away his long spear, shouting coldly. Yes, yes, yes. The few of them nodded and bowed as though they had just been pardoned. Then, they ran away in a sorry state. Let's go. Let's return to Kongshan School. Lu Ming said. Having said that, he soared into the sky. Ouyang Qingxiang and the rest glanced at one another before following Lu Ming and soaring into the sky. Lu Ming took out the space battleship in the sky. The group boarded the space battleship and flew to another planet with a teleportation formation. Lu Ming, are you going back to look for Tianhong? Ouyang Qingxiang couldn't help but ask in the space battleship. Why not? Lu Ming said. Lu Ming, Tianhong is not an ordinary person. His combat strength is far beyond an ordinary person. He's not that easy to deal with, Ouyang Qingxiang explained. Has his cultivation base improved in the past few years? What's his current cultivation base? Lu Ming asked again. He should still be a level 4 heavenly god, but he has reached the peak of level 4 heavenly god. Ouyang Qingxiang said. If he's still a level 4 heavenly god, then it's easy. Let's go back and kill Tianhong. Lu Ming laughed. Ouyang Qingxiang and the others looked at each other, not knowing why Lu Ming was so confident. Although Lu Ming's combat power was very strong and he could easily crush a third-level celestial god expert, Lu Ming was not a match for him. However, the Tianhong saint was not an ordinary person. He could kill a level 3 heavenly god with one move. Soon, they arrived at a planet near the ancient god planet. They then took the teleportation formation and rushed back to the Kongshan school. As soon as they arrived at the Kongshan school, Lu Ming went to the Tianhong saint's residence. Like Ouyang Qingxiang, the Tianhong saint's residence was also a huge mountain. There were many magnificent palaces built on it. There were many people from the Tenho Seiko faction guarding this mountain. Who's there? As soon as Lu Ming and the others approached, they were discovered by the people from the Tenho Seiko faction. It's Lu Ming and Saintess Qingxiang. Then, a group of people recognized Lu Ming and the others. Where's Tianhong? Ask him to come out. Lu Ming stood in the air and shouted. Lu Ming, how dare you? One of the people from the Tenho Seiko faction was furious. Shut up. Tianhong, come out and face your death. Lu Ming's roar was like thunder. His voice reverberated around the area. That's Lu Ming. Lu Ming dared to provoke the saint. He's courting death. He must be tired of living. Lu Ming's voice alerted the other people from the Tenho Seiko faction. Many of them flew out from the buildings and stared at Lu Ming maliciously. Many of them mocked him. Lu Ming. At this moment, a cold voice was heard. A young man stepped out from a luxurious palace and stood in the air. He was emitting cold killing intent. The Tianhong saint had appeared. Tianhong, you're really here. Very good. Lu Ming said coldly. Hee, Lu Ming, you're really lucky. You didn't die in such an environment. I have to admire your luck. Now, why are you looking for me? The Tianhong saint sneered. He then looked at Anhai, Lu Zhang, and the others and said, Oh, by the way, I killed one of your men. You're not here to avenge him, right? Ha ha ha. After saying that, the Tianhong saint laughed exaggeratedly. I'm now officially challenging you to a battle of life and death. Do you dare to accept? Lu Ming said word by word. His voice spread far and wide. The scene quieted down. Everyone looked at Lu Ming in a daze. Lu Ming actually wants to challenge the Tianhong saint to a battle of life and death? Many people thought they had heard wrongly. What was Lu Ming's cultivation level? He was only a true god. He could become a saint because the sect leader made an exception for him. Now, he actually wanted to challenge the Tianhong saint to a battle of life and death? A true god? Lu Ming, don't be impulsive. Ouyang Qingxiang hurriedly transmitted a message to Lu Ming. At the same time, Yu Linglong, Wu Zifeng, and Hai, and the others also transmitted messages to Lu Ming, advising Lu Ming not to be impulsive. P.S. Readers, I'm the shepherd boy Ting Zhu. I recommend a free app that supports downloading, listening to books, zero ads, and multiple reading modes. Readers, please follow. Chapter 2856. Ouyang Qingxiang, Yu Linglong, and the others all believed that Lu Ming had challenged the sky-bright Saint Sun in a fit of rage over Zhao Feng's death. And Hai and Lu Chong were both extremely moved. How could they not be moved by someone treating a subordinate like this? They silently swore to themselves that they would serve Lu Ming to the death. Okay, I agree. The sky-bright Saint Sun himself paused for a moment before immediately responding. What a joke. How could he miss such a good chance to kill Lu Ming? He immediately agreed, afraid that Lu Ming would go back on his word. Okay. Lu Ming nodded. He took out a piece of paper, forced out a strand of blood, and wrote the words, Life and Death Dual Scroll. He then signed his name. With a wave of his hand, the Life and Death Dual Scroll flew toward the sky-bright Saint Sun. The sky-bright Saint Sun received it, a hint of confusion in his eyes. Lu Ming's decisiveness and calmness made him feel a little uneasy. So what? He's still a true God realm cultivator who only joined the sect 100-some years ago. How strong can he be? I'm overthinking it. The sky-bright Saint Sun shook his head, dispelling the uneasiness in his heart. He then forced out a strand of blood and signed his name on the Life and Death Dual Scroll. Lu Ming waved his hand, putting away the Life and Death Dual Scroll, and said, Skybright, in 3 days, let's fight to the death on the Life and Death arena. After saying this, Lu Ming turned and left. Ouyang Qingxiang and the others followed Lu Ming. Lu Ming, are you confident? Ouyang Qingxiang quietly messaged Lu Ming. 80%. Lu Ming replied. Ouyang Qingxiang's beautiful eyes flashed. Lu Ming actually had an 80% chance of defeating the sky-bright Saint Sun. This shocked her. She could see that Lu Ming must have had a fortuitous encounter that allowed him to reach rank 8 true god. However, the difference between an rank 8 true god and the sky-bright Saint Sun was still too great. Could Lu Ming really cross such a great distance and fight with the sky-bright Saint Sun? The eyes of Ouyang Qingxiang and the others were filled with anticipation. Lu Ming, I will definitely kill you in 3 days. The Tianhong saint waved his sleeves and returned to the palace. Not long after, news of the life and death battle between Lu Ming and the heavenly Hong saint spread throughout the Kongxian school like a whirlwind. The entire Kongxian school was shaken, and it set off a huge uproar. Hearing this news, countless people were dumbfounded. Lu Ming is going to have a battle to the death with the heavenly Hong saint? Was this for real? Does he want to die? It's definitely true. They've already signed the agreement for a duel to the death. We'll fight in 3 days. Lu Ming is crazy, isn't he? Isn't he courting death? Who knows? Let's wait for a good show in 3 days. I'm afraid that the number of holy sons and holy daughters in Kongxian school will soon be reduced to 7. Many people were discussing in shock, but the public opinion was almost one-sided. They thought that Lu Ming was overestimating himself. Decades ago, when the sect leader had just conferred Lu Ming as the Holy Son, Lu Ming had displayed his combat strength. At that time, he was only able to fight with the experts on the True God list. How far was the True God list from the heavenly Hong Saint's combat strength? Many people would not be able to surpass it in their lifetime, let alone decades. In Kongxian school, the experts of the various sects, holy sons and holy daughters had all returned from the ancient god planet and were paying attention to this matter. Many elders even came out of seclusion to watch the battle between the holy sons. Just like that, 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. 3 days later, the Kongxian school's life and death battle ring was surrounded by people. Kongxian school's outer sect disciples, outer sect deacons, and outer sect elders. The number of inner sect disciples, inner sect deacons, and inner sect elders added up to more than 100,000 people. A sea of people had come to watch this great battle. This life and death battle was of great significance. One of the holy sons was destined to fall. If the heavenly Hong Saint won and killed Lu Ming, then the Kongxian school structure would return to the past, with 5 holy sons, 2 holy daughters, and 7 major factions. And if Lu Ming won, then the structure of the Kongxian school would change drastically. Lu Ming would rise strongly, and many people would join Lu Ming's faction. Lu Ming would suppress the other holy sons and holy daughters, and even compete with the supreme holy sons. Not only these people, but almost all the other holy sons and holy daughters had come, but they were hiding in the dark. Who do you think will win, Heavenly Hong or Lu Ming? Holy Son Ji Xia asked the other holy sons and holy daughters. Needless to say, it must be Heavenly Hong. More than 50 years ago, Heavenly Hong and I went to stop him in the ancient God world, but he didn't even dare to fart. He only survived with the help of Ouyang Qingxiang. Do you think he can fight Heavenly Hong? I think he had some fortuitous encounter in the ancient God world, and his strength increased. That's why he's so confident. Just wait for his death. Fuko Seiko sneered. The other holy sons and holy daughters were deep in thought. The heavenly Hong Saint is here. Someone shouted. Then, everyone saw a group of people walking in the air. The person in the lead was the heavenly Hong Saint. He was dressed in luxurious clothes and looked mighty and domineering. Behind him, there was a group of experts. Many of them were inner sect elders. A vast and majestic aura filled the air. It was awe-inspiring. The heavenly Hong Saint stepped out first and landed on the life and death battle ring. Lu Ming is here. Someone shouted again. In another direction, Lu Ming came with An Hai and Lu Chang. Compared to the heavenly Hong Saint, the scene was too shabby. A holy son only has 2 subordinates. What a joke. When he's killed by the heavenly Hong Saint, he'll only have 2 subordinates. He'll set a record for the Kongxian school. Ha ha ha. Some people who had a grudge with Lu Ming mocked him. Lu Ming sneered. Let's see if these people can still laugh after a while. Whoosh. Lu Ming stepped out and landed on the battle ring. Lu Ming, you really dare to come. Very good, very good. The heavenly Hong Saint stared at Lu Ming with a sinister gaze. Very good indeed. Cut the crap. Make your move. Lu Ming sneered. Since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. The heavenly Hong Saint's eyes turned ferocious. His body began to swell, and scales covered his body as he transformed into a dragon man. Sun Dragon Claw. The heavenly Hong Saint shouted. He took a step forward and swept toward Lu Ming like a gust of wind. His claws were no different from dragon claws as they clawed at Lu Ming. This was a terrifying divine skill that had been cultivated to the 6th level by the heavenly Hong Saint. With the support of the heavenly Hong Saint's 4th level heavenly God realm divine power, its power was terrifying. It could tear apart a mountain range that was a few million miles long. If the life and death battle ring hadn't been reinforced with a powerful array, it wouldn't have been able to withstand the heavenly Hong Saint's attack. Boom! There was a violent explosion in Lu Ming's body. The battle art had quadrupled his combat strength. Lu Ming had activated it. At the same time, 6 divine fires burned fiercely, providing powerful divine power. 9 layers of crimson gold armor, apocalyptic 3 strikes. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming cast 2 types of divine skills. P.S. Dear readers, I'm the shepherd boy Ting Zhu. I recommend a free app that supports downloading, listening to books, 0 ads, and multiple reading modes. Dear readers, please follow me. Chapter 2857. Lu Ming used 2 divine techniques, 9 layers of crimson gold armor and apocalyptic 3 strikes. One was to protect himself, while the other was to attack. Swoosh. 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 Lu Ming's long spear stabbed out 12 times. In an instant, 12 spear radiances appeared in the air like shooting stars, stabbing toward the heavenly Hong Saint Sun. Clang. 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 The spear radiances collided with the heavenly Hong Saint Sun's dragon claws. There was a series of collisions, and sparks flew everywhere. In an instant, the two had exchanged more than 12 blows. Bam! Bam! Then, a figure retreated frantically. He retreated more than 12 steps before he could stabilize himself. This figure was Lu Ming. Lu Ming retreated. He's losing. Terrifying. Lu Ming actually blocked the heavenly Hong Saint Sun's attack. Even if he retreated, his strength is still shocking. This scene still shocked many people. They were not shocked that Lu Ming retreated, but that Lu Ming actually blocked the heavenly Hong Saint Sun's attack. Many people thought that Lu Ming would be instantly killed by the heavenly Hong Saint Sun. No wonder Lu Ming dared to challenge the heavenly Hong Saint Sun and engage in a life-and-death battle with him. He's so powerful. However, he's still too confident and underestimated the heavenly Hong Saint Sun. The heavenly Hong Saint Sun probably hasn't used his full strength yet. That's right. The outcome is already decided. Some of the inner sect elders nodded and commented. Lu Ming, is this all you've got? You've improved a lot, but you still have to die. Kill. The heavenly Hong Saint Sun shouted coldly. He launched a storm-like attack at Lu Ming. The dragon claws on his hands, and even the sharp claws on his legs, attacked Lu Ming continuously. Sky-piercing, sky-piercing, Lu Ming kept using sky-piercing. Streaks of spear radiances erupted and pierced toward the heavenly Hong Saint Sun. At the same time, 9 ice chains flew out like 9 long snakes. They emitted a shocking chill as they wrapped around the great Hong Saint. Presently, Lu Ming's cultivation rose to 8th level True God. The power of the ice chains naturally became stronger too. This was especially true for the 9th ice chain. Its temperature was shockingly low. Even the Tian Hong Saint was wary of it. He had to carefully avoid the 9th ice chain, not daring to touch it directly. This was because every time they clashed, a terrifying chill would surge into his body, trying to freeze his divine power and blood. Dragon Wing Slash. The Great Sun Dragon Claw was not the only divine technique that the Great Sun Saint had cultivated. At this moment, he used another divine technique, the Dragon Wing Slash. A pair of fleshy wings extended from his back and slashed at Lu Ming like 2 heavenly sabers. This divine skill was both a speed divine skill and an attack divine skill. It was extremely mysterious. This kind of divine skill combined with the Great Sun Dragon Claw of the Great Sun was even more shocking. The strength of a saint was indeed formidable. Swoosh. Lu Ming used the 9 Heavens Kuan Peng technique. As he dodged, he fought with the Great Sun Saint. For a moment, he was completely at a disadvantage. However, Lu Ming's divine skills, the ice chains, and the measure word formula continuously surged with divine power. Although he was at a disadvantage, it was not that easy for the Great Sun Saint to defeat Lu Ming. The two of them exchanged dozens of blows consecutively. Lu Ming was in a perilous situation, but he managed to fend off the attacks. Lu Ming did not immediately use the ancient god body. Firstly, he wanted to see just how strong a saint was in terms of battle prowess. Secondly, he wanted to use the Great Sun Saint to train his divine skills. Clearly, the Great Sun Saint had seen through Lu Ming's thoughts. Brat, you want to use me to train your divine skills? Go to hell. Divine Dragon Aspect Technique. The heavenly Hong Saint roared and finally used his secret technique. A seven-clawed divine dragon appeared above the great sun saint's head. It was 10,000 meters long. Seven-clawed. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. In the past, the great sun saint's divine dragon aspect could only form a six-clawed divine dragon. But now, he could form a seven-clawed divine dragon. It had to be said that the great sun saint was very talented. He cultivated the divine dragon aspect technique, but it was incomplete. Yet, he managed to form a seven-clawed divine dragon. Tear him apart. The Tianhong saint bellowed. He controlled the divine dragon Dharma idol and pounced on Lu Ming. Divine dragon aspect, do you think you're the only one with it? Come out. Lu Ming roared. A divine dragon also appeared above his head. However, it was a nine-clawed dragon. Many people were shocked. They did not expect Lu Ming to know the divine dragon aspect technique. Moreover, the divine dragon he formed was a nine-clawed dragon. Roar. The nine-clawed dragon aspect roared and charged at the great sun saint's seven-clawed divine dragon. The two divine dragons wrestled in the air. However, Lu Ming's nine-clawed dragon aspect was at a disadvantage. The power of the divine dragon was related to the level of the divine dragon. The more dragon claws it had, the more powerful it was. However, it was also related to one's cultivation level. The higher one's cultivation level was, the stronger the divine dragon aspect would be. Even if a supreme being could only form a five-clawed divine dragon aspect, he could easily crush a nine-clawed dragon aspect formed by a god. The logic was the same. Although the divine dragon Dharma characteristic that Lu Ming condensed was a nine-clawed divine dragon, his cultivation was far weaker than that of the Tianhong saint. Therefore, in the battle between the Dharma characteristics, the divine dragon Dharma characteristic that he condensed was at a disadvantage. So what if you formed a nine-clawed dragon aspect? You're still no match for me. Just wait for your death. The great sun saint roared, but he was so jealous that he was about to go crazy. He had cultivated for a long time and put in a lot of effort to form the seven-clawed divine dragon aspect. As for Lu Ming, he had formed a nine-clawed dragon aspect not long after obtaining the divine dragon aspect technique. It would be strange if the great sun saint was not jealous. As long as I kill him, the complete divine dragon aspect technique will be mine. Sooner or later, I will be able to form a complete nine-clawed dragon aspect. The great sun saint's eyes were filled with greed as he attacked Lu Ming with all his might. In an instant, Lu Ming was in imminent danger. Great sun saint, it looks like you've unleashed your full strength. However, I'm still far from unleashing my full strength. Lu Ming's mocking voice rang out. What? Many people were shocked. Lu Ming's full strength was still far from unleashing his full strength? Was he bragging? Lu Ming's battle with the great sun saint had already exceeded everyone's expectations. How could he still have not unleashed his full strength? They did not believe it. Most people did not believe it at first sight. Don't think you can mess with my state of mind with just a few words. The great sun saint said coldly. He also did not believe that Lu Ming still had not unleashed his full strength. He thought that Lu Ming was trying to trick him and mess up his state of mind so that he would have scruples and not be able to unleash his full strength. In fact, most people thought so too. You're too naive if you want to use this method to deal with great sun saint. Indeed, it's child's play. The saint of Ji Xia and Fuko Seiko sneered. However, in the next moment, their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. P.S. Readers, I'm the shepherd boy Ting Zhu. I recommend a free app that supports downloading, listening to books, zero ads, and multiple reading modes. Readers, please follow. Chapter 2858. Tianhong, open your eyes wide and see what it means to be a frog in a well. Lu Ming's indifferent voice resounded throughout the arena. Then, a powerful aura erupted from his body. His body swelled rapidly, becoming bigger and bigger until he was 100 meters tall. His body was covered with green scales, as if an ancient deity had appeared. Ancient God Body. Lu Ming had finally used the Ancient God Body. After transforming into the Ancient God Body, Lu Ming's strength skyrocketed. He felt as if he had endless power. Buzz! Lu Ming's long spear swept out. It was as huge as a mountain, pressing down on the Tianhong Saint. Dong! The Tianhong Saint's dragon wing collided with the spear radiance. There was an earth-shattering explosion, and a terrifying shockwave spread out in all directions outside the fighting ring. Swoosh! Then, a figure stepped on the void and retreated. This time, it was not Lu Ming who retreated, but the Tianhong Saint. This is the Ancient God Body. Oh my God, it's the Ancient God Body. Lu Ming has also condensed the Ancient God Body. He must have had a fortuitous encounter in the Ancient God world. Terrifying. This is too terrifying. As far as I know, only the Mystic Academy's Divine Son, the invincible Kenzo's Divine Son, and the two supreme talents of the Ice Spirit race and Flaming race have had fortuitous encounters in the Ancient God world. I didn't expect Lu Ming to have also cultivated the Ancient God Body. Moreover, his scales are green. This is the 4th level of the Ancient God Body. Terrifying. This is Lu Ming's trump card. Unbelievable. This battle will be incredible. Lu Ming's use of the Ancient God Body caused an uproar. Many people had entered the Ancient God world and knew about the Ancient God Body. They were even more shocked. They did not expect that other than the 4 geniuses, someone from the Kongxian school had also had a fortuitous encounter and cultivated the Ancient God Body. Envy, jealousy, and hatred. This was how most people felt. Ancient God Body, you, the Tianhong Saint, was also shocked beyond words. To kill you. Lu Ming said coldly. With the long spear in his hand, he charged towards the Heavenly Hong Saint. So what if you have cultivated the Ancient God Body? You still have to die. Kill, kill, kill. The Tianhong Saint roared crazily and unleashed his strength to the extreme. The 7-clawed divine dragon roared at the sky and finally gained the upper hand. It tore apart the 9-clawed dragon that Lu Ming condensed and charged at Lu Ming. At the same time, the Tianhong Saint used the Great Sun Dragon Claw and Dragon Wing Slash to attack Lu Ming. Void piercing. Moon slaying. Lu Ming brandished his long spear and used the Armageddon 3 strikes consecutively to fight with the Heavenly Hong Saint. Before Lu Ming used his Ancient God Body, he was at a complete disadvantage against the Great Sky Saint Sun. However, after Lu Ming used his Ancient God Body, his battle prowess skyrocketed, suppressing the Great Sky Saint Sun instead. Bang! 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 The two of them clashed repeatedly on the battle platform. Every time they clashed, the Skybright Saint stumbled backward. He was completely suppressed by Lu Ming. It had to be said that the Great Sky Saint Sun's battle prowess was extremely strong. If it were an ordinary 4th-level celestial god, Lu Ming would have been crushed in one move when he unleashed his Ancient God physique. However, the Tianhong Saint was able to engage in an intense battle with Lu Ming. This was a testament to his strength. However, in the end, Lu Ming was still stronger. Ice chains, divine dragon dharma form. During the battle, Lu Ming used the ice shackles and divine dragon aspect art to interfere with the Great Sky Hong Saint. The Heavenly Hong Saint was already no match for him. Now, he was even less of a match. Bang! In a moment of carelessness, Lu Ming's 9-clawed dragon avatar clawed at his body, almost piercing through his body. The impact sent him flying, and he coughed up a large mouthful of blood. A bloody groove appeared on his body, and blood flowed continuously. Then, Lu Ming swept his spear across the Heavenly Hong Saint's body. Bang! Crack! Cracking sounds came from the Heavenly Hong Saint's body. Many of his bones were broken, and he slid a long distance on the fighting ring. Lying on the ground, he coughed up large mouthfuls of blood, unable to continue fighting. Defeated. The Heavenly Hong Saint's son was defeated. Everyone fell silent and watched in a daze. Some of them were even dumbfounded. This scene was beyond the expectations of most people. Before the battle, almost no one thought that Lu Ming could defeat the heavenly Hong Saint Sun. Almost everyone thought that Lu Ming was seeking his own death. Who would have thought that this scene would unfold before their eyes? The 4th-level celestial god heavenly Hong Saint Sun was defeated by the 8th-level true god Lu Ming. He was lying on the ground like a dead dog. Bang! Lu Ming landed on the ground and strode toward the heavenly Hong Saint Sun. His cold killing intent made the heavenly Hong Saint Sun tremble. Lu Ming, what are you trying to do? The heavenly Hong Saint Sun shouted in fear. What am I trying to do? Of course, I'm trying to kill you. Do you still need to ask such a naive question? Lu Ming sneered. No, you can't kill me. I'm the saint of the Kongxian school. You can't kill a saint's son for no reason. The heavenly Hong Saint Sun shouted. This is a life and death battle. Don't make it sound so ridiculous. Lu Ming didn't stop walking. His killing intent became even colder. Stop it. You can't kill the heavenly Hong Saint Sun. At this moment, someone outside the fighting ring shouted. A powerful aura spread out and pressed toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. The person who attacked was an inner elder of the Kongxian school. He was Ying Tsang's master. He was at the peak of the heavenly god realm and was a core member of the heavenly Hong faction. He naturally couldn't watch the heavenly Hong Saint Sun die at the hands of Lu Ming. However, someone hoped that the heavenly Hong Saint Sun would die at the hands of Lu Ming. That person was from Ouyang Qingxiang's faction. An inner elder from Ouyang Qingxiang's faction also released a powerful aura and blocked the aura of Ying Tsang's master. The two saints have signed the life and death battle agreement and are going to have a life and death battle. No one is allowed to interfere. Don't break the rules. The inner elder from Ouyang Qingxiang's faction said coldly. Ridiculous. Heavenly Hong is a saint. It's extremely difficult to give birth to a saint. How can we decide his life and death just because of the life and death battle agreement? Ying Tsang's master shouted. The life and death battle agreement is a rule that has been formed in the cultivation world for hundreds of millions of years. Who does Heavenly Hong think he is? How can we change the rules just because of him? The inner elder from Ouyang Qingxiang's faction didn't back down. Lu Ming didn't want to waste any more time and directly attacked. Heavenly Hong, rest in peace. Lu Ming said coldly and stabbed his spear toward Heavenly Hong. Ah! The heavenly Hong Saint Sun screamed. How dare you, Ying Tsang's master shouted. However, he was blocked and couldn't help. As for the other experts, they were just watching from the sidelines. After signing the life and death battle agreement, life and death had to be determined. No one was allowed to interfere. Swoosh! The spear pierced through the air, making everyone's heart beat wildly. The heavenly Hong Saint Sun desperately wanted to dodge. However, he was seriously injured. How could he dodge? Poof! The spear directly pierced through the heavenly Hong Saint Sun's forehead. The heavenly Hong Saint Sun let out an unwilling scream. His eyes were wide open as his life aura rapidly drained away. In the blink of an eye, the heavenly Hong Saint Sun had lost all signs of life. The heavenly Hong Saint Sun had fallen. P.S. Readers, I'm the shepherd boy Ting Zhu. I recommend a free app that supports downloading, listening to books, 0 advertisements, and multiple reading modes. Readers, please follow me. Chapter 28:59. SSSSSSSSS. Gasps could be heard at the scene. Witnessing a saint being killed in front of their eyes was a shocking scene. The Tianhong saint had dominated the Kongxian school for a long time. In the Kongxian school, he could be said to be a true overlord, a peerless genius, and someone who had the potential to take charge of the Kongxian school in the future. But now, the Kongxian school's overlord battle had not even officially begun, and he had fallen at the hands of a new disciple who had only been in the sect for about 100 years. It was a tragedy. Swoosh! With a wave of his hand, Lu Ming grabbed the Tianhong Saint's storage ring. Damn it, Ying Tsang's master roared. He was furious and wanted to tear Lu Ming into pieces. Now that the Tianhong Saint was dead, he could not achieve his goal. He had originally wanted to help the Great Sky Sage ascend to the position of sect master. Once the Great Sky Sage ascended to the position of sect master, his status would definitely rise and he would definitely be able to suppress the other inner sect elders in the Xian Sky sect. But now, everything was ruined. Lu Ming, just you wait. Just you wait, Ying Tsang's master roared in his heart. Then, he looked at the rest of the Tianhong faction and said, "Go, take the saint's corpse and go." But no one moved. The eyes of the Tenho Seiko faction flickered. Now that the Tianhong saint was dead, there was no need for their faction to continue existing. It was definitely going to be disbanded. Since they were going to be disbanded, they had to find other backers. Lu Ming had killed the Tianhong saint. His talent was simply amazing. Among the other saints and saintesses, the only one who could compete with Lu Ming was probably the Supreme Saint. With Lu Ming's talent, the chances of him becoming the overlord in the future were very high. This made many people in the Tianhong faction think about it. They were even considering if they should directly rely on Lu Ming. "You. What do you want?" Ying Tsang's master was called Yuan Shou. At this moment, he was glaring at those people. Those people avoided Yuan Shou's gaze and did not look him in the eye. Some of them were even unafraid of Yuan Shou's gaze. After all, Yuan Shou was not the only inner sect elder under the Tenho Seiko faction. "Good, you traitorous bastards. Very good." Ying Tsang shouted angrily and left dejectedly with the Heavenly Hong Saint's corpse. Lu Ming's talent is truly unparalleled. Kongxian's sect has never had someone like you since ancient times. I am Rong Hao and I wish to pledge my allegiance to you and serve you in the future. I will help you become the sect master. Immediately, an old man flew out. "You are of the Tianhong faction?" Lu Ming swept his gaze over this person. "I was in the past, but Tianhong was stubborn. He dared to go against the saint of Lu Ming. He deserved to die. To be honest, I have long admired the reputation of the saint of Lu Ming and wanted to rely on you. It was just that Tianhong had been suppressing me, so I did not." Rong Hao gave a flattering smile. Many people despised him. Rong Hao was really despicable. The saint of the Tianhong faction had just died, but he immediately sided with Lu Ming. He even degraded the saint of the Tianhong faction. However, Lu Ming smiled and did not reject him. "Since you want to rely on me, then follow me in the future." There was no need to reject him in this situation. Lu Ming wanted to expand his influence, so he had to accept Rong Hao in public. This way, there would definitely be more people who would rely on Lu Ming, including the people of the Tenho Seiko faction. Many people of the Tenho Seiko faction had opposed Lu Ming in the past. They wanted to rely on Lu Ming, so they were naturally wary of Lu Ming's revenge. However, when they saw that Lu Ming had even accepted Rong Hao, their eyes lit up. The people of the Tenho Seiko faction knew that once the saint of the Tianhong faction died, they would either rely on other factions or remain neutral. However, in the Kongxian school, there were many factions. It was not easy to stay neutral. Since they wanted to rely on others, they might as well rely on Lu Ming. Indeed, many people's eyes lit up. "I am willing to rely on the saint of Lu Ming. I am also willing to follow the saint of Lu Ming in the future and be at his beck and call." Immediately, many people stood up. They were all people of the Tenho Seiko faction and expressed their willingness to rely on Lu Ming. "All right." Lu Ming nodded and accepted them one by one. This moved even more people. Many people who were originally neutral were also moved. Lu Ming's strong rise and unparalleled talent had moved many people who were neutral. They were considering whether to join Lu Ming's faction. Fuko Seiko snorted coldly. His eyes were extremely cold, but there was a trace of fear in the depths of his eyes. His strength was on par with the saint of the Tianhong faction. Now that the saint of the Tianhong faction was no match for Lu Ming and had been killed, he was probably no match for Lu Ming. He knew that Lu Ming's rise was unstoppable. Fuko Seiko's face was gloomy as he turned and left. The other saints and saintesses also glanced at Lu Ming solemnly and left one after another. Lu Ming. The saint of the supremacy opened and closed his eyes, flickering with a sharp light. In the past, the saint of the supremacy faction did not put Lu Ming in his eyes at all. He did not treat Lu Ming as an opponent, but now, he felt a strong sense of danger. The saint of the supremacy faction's eyes flickered a few times before he turned and left. Everyone, the door of my faction is open for you. From today onwards, if you want to join Lu Ming's faction, you can register with Anhai and Lu Chang. Lu Ming pointed at Anhai and Lu Chang, his voice spreading throughout the area. Many people looked at Anhai and Lu Chang with envy in their eyes. They knew that Anhai and Lu Chang would be put in an important position by Lu Ming and become Lu Ming's trusted aides. In the future, they would be able to get whatever they wanted in the Kongxian school. They were envious. If they had known, they would have joined Lu Ming long ago. Both Anhai and Lu Chang were trembling with excitement. They secretly rejoiced that they had sided with Lu Ming long ago. Although they had gone through some storms before, they had finally overcome them. After Lu Ming finished his announcement, he turned and left. In the following days, there was a violent upheaval in the Kongxian school. The saint of the Tianhong faction had fallen, the Tenho Seiko faction had collapsed, and Lu Ming's faction had risen to power. It turned out that many experts of the Tenho Seiko faction had joined Lu Ming. Lu Ming did not reject them and accepted them all. In addition, many experts who were originally neutral came to join Lu Ming. Lu Ming's strength expanded rapidly, becoming a true saints faction. It even surpassed the other saints and saintesses, and showed signs of competing with the most eminent saint. In addition, Yuan Xiu led a group of people from the Tianhong faction to join the most eminent saint. For a time, the Kongxian school was filled with an undercurrent of tension. However, Lu Ming put all these aside and focused on cultivating. In the blink of an eye, another few months had passed. On this day, Lu Ming suddenly received a transmission from Autumn Moon. Chapter 2860. This girl is finally out of seclusion. Lu Ming smiled. Autumn Moon. Ever since she followed Lu Ming to the Kongxian school, she had been cultivating in seclusion in the Divine Vein Tower for 70 to 80 years. Now, she finally sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming. Lu Ming flew to the Divine Vein Tower. Young master, seeing Lu Ming, Autumn Moon was overjoyed. Autumn Moon, you're finally out of seclusion. Let's go back to the place where we live. Lu Ming smiled. Wait, young master, I still owe a lot of points. Autumn Moon said with a red face. Yeah, kid, this girl has been cultivating for so many years. She can't leave without enough points. An old man guarding the Divine Vein Tower said. So, that's how it is. Lu Ming laughed. He had forgotten that Autumn Moon didn't have many points. She had been cultivating in the Divine Vein Tower for so many years. She would need at least tens of thousands of points. That was why she sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming. Otherwise, when Autumn Moon came out of seclusion, she would go to Lu Ming herself. Come, senior, this is my identity medallion. You can take it. Lu Ming took out his identity token and handed it to the old man. The old man took it and glanced at it. His eyes suddenly widened in shock. The successor's token. You're Lu Ming, the successor? The old man was surprised. Yes. Lu Ming nodded. So you're Lu Ming, the successor. I've heard a lot about you. The old man looked at Lu Ming curiously, then swiped his points and returned the successor's token to Lu Ming. Autumn Moon, let's go. Hey, wait, your cultivation. As Lu Ming spoke, his eyes widened and he revealed an extremely shocked expression. He was shocked by Autumn Moon's cultivation. Previously, he hadn't carefully sensed Chiao Yu's cultivation. Now that he did, he was shocked. Autumn Moon's cultivation actually already reached the true God realm. Furthermore, it actually reached the terrifying level 5 true God realm. What was going on? Back when Autumn Moon and Lu Ming came to the Kongshan school, Chiao Autumn Moon was only a demigod. But now, in just a few years, Chiao Autumn Moon's cultivation had soared to level 5 true God. This kind of cultivation speed was simply appalling. It was even more abnormal than Lu Ming's. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. Young master, Autumn Moon was about to say something. Wait, we'll talk when we get back. Lu Ming pulled Autumn Moon's hand and flew towards their residence. After returning to Lu Ming's residence, Lu Ming asked about Autumn Moon in detail. Young master, I don't know what's going on either. After I broke through to the empty God realm, something seemed to have awakened in my body, causing me to sink into a deep state of cultivation. After I finished cultivating, I didn't expect so many years to have passed. My cultivation has also risen to level 5 true God. Autumn Moon blinked her big eyes, looking confused. Something in your body has awakened? What is it? Lu Ming was puzzled. Young master, let me show you. Autumn Moon nodded and then circulated her divine power. Suddenly, a layer of light spread out from Autumn Moon's heart. It was a layer of 9-colored light. Then, there seemed to be a 9-colored heart emerging from Autumn Moon's heart. An extremely mysterious aura emerged. Lu Ming didn't know what it was at all, but he felt that the 9-colored heart was extremely mysterious and seemed to contain a terrifying power. Oh my God, this is the sacred heart of 9 orifices. This is the legendary sacred heart of 9 orifices. At this moment, Gu Mo jumped out of the picture scroll in Lin Fan's consciousness and shouted in shock. Sacred heart of 9 orifices? What's that? And, why are you so excited? Lu Ming asked Gu Mo through telepathy. Nonsense, you're talking nonsense. Anyone who sees the sacred heart of 9 orifices will be excited. This is a legendary sacred heart. It's countless times more precious than your ancient god heart. Gu Mo shouted, completely losing his usual calmness. Calm down, calm down. Come, tell me, what is the use of the sacred heart of 9 orifices? Lu Ming asked Gu Mo through telepathy. The sacred heart of 9 orifices is extremely mysterious. It's hard for me to describe its uses, but I do know that the most impressive thing about it is its ability to cultivate. Legend has it that those who have awakened the sacred heart of 9 orifices will be able to cultivate at a shocking speed. Even if they only eat and sleep all day without cultivating, their cultivation will still improve automatically. Furthermore, it will be faster than the cultivation of others. Once they cultivate seriously and obtain some fortunate encounters, their cultivation will skyrocket. Gu Mo explained loudly. Lu Ming was stunned too. He stared at Autumn Moon with his eyes open wide. His lips trembled as he could no longer remain calm. Her cultivation would continue to improve even if she only ate and slept. Furthermore, it would be faster than the cultivation of others. This was absolutely insane. How could they let him live? No wonder Autumn Moon's cultivation had improved so quickly during this period. I know, this girl's talent has not been revealed yet. Her sacred heart of 9 orifices will only be awakened when she breaks through the martial god realm and becomes a deity. That's awesome. Lu Ming, I'm so envious that you have such an awesome woman. Gu Mo chattered on. His eyes were red with envy. Of course, he was just a skeleton without eyes. Young master, what's wrong with you? I'll be fine, right? Autumn Moon panicked when she saw Lu Ming's dazed look. It's fine, it's fine. Autumn Moon, you're extremely talented. Your cultivation will surpass mine in the future. I'm just surprised. Lu Ming quickly calmed himself down and said. Really, really? How can my cultivation surpass young masters? Autumn Moon smiled sweetly when she heard Lu Ming's words. She was extremely beautiful. Autumn Moon, who had awakened the sacred heart of 9 orifices, was even more beautiful. She had a unique temperament that made Lu Ming's heart skip a beat. Autumn Moon, you're so beautiful. Lu Ming held Autumn Moon's hand and praised her. Is that so? Autumn Moon blushed. Her skin was tender and smooth, making people want to take a bite. Of course it's true. Lu Ming went forward and kissed Autumn Moon's red lips. Autumn Moon's body started to tremble. Then, she responded passionately. Their lips parted after a long while. Autumn Moon was even more charming. Autumn Moon, you've awakened the sacred heart of 9 orifices. Your cultivation will be amazingly fast in the future. However, you can't tell anyone about this. Otherwise, it will be troublesome. Lu Ming calmed himself down and warned her carefully. The sacred heart of 9 orifices was too amazing. Once it was spread, it would probably cause a huge uproar. At that time, it would be hard to predict whether it would be a blessing or a curse. Therefore, it was best not to spread it. Yes, young master. Autumn Moon nodded obediently. The blush on her face had not subsided. Autumn Moon, stay with me tonight. Lu Ming said in a low voice. Huh? Autumn Moon panicked. Her heart was beating like a deer. This was what she had been looking forward to. However, when it really came, she was still extremely nervous. Autumn Moon, are you not willing? If you're not willing, I won't force you. Lu Ming said. No, Autumn Moon shook her head repeatedly. In the end, she lowered her head with a red face and whispered, I'm willing. Chapter 2861. In Lu Ming's room, it was a beautiful night. Lu Ming and Xiao Autumn Moon were entangled in a fierce battle. The two of them battled for 3 days and 3 nights before they fell asleep in each other's arms. After that, the two of them stayed together every day to cultivate. Lu Ming would also guide Xiao Autumn Moon in her cultivation of divine skills. After Xiao Autumn Moon awakened the sacred heart of 9 orifices, not only did her cultivation speed increase at an astonishing rate, but her comprehension had also greatly improved. She was able to comprehend divine skills at an astonishing speed. Moreover, Xiao Autumn Moon had already cultivated the universe 10,000 ways technique to a very high level. Autumn Moon's divine power had already reached the peak of divine power. She would be able to cultivate divine dominator divine power with one more step. At that time, Xiao Autumn Moon would also be able to cultivate other divine powers and condense various divine fires. Her combat strength would also skyrocket. Xiao Autumn Moon's future was simply limitless. Time flew by, and 2 years passed in the blink of an eye. In these 2 years, Qiu Yu's cultivation level had improved to the 6th level of a true god. Lu Ming's cultivation level was still at the 8th level of a true god. At this moment, a piece of news spread in Kongxian School and caused a huge uproar. The higher-ups of Kongxian School had decided that in 3 months, there would be a competition between the saints and saintesses to determine the Zongzi. The Zongzi would be the replacement sect master and the future sect master. As soon as the news came out, the entire Kongxian School was shocked. This was because the news came from the Kongxian School Senate. All the saints and saintesses immediately gathered the people of their respective factions to discuss this matter. Lu Ming also immediately gathered the experts of his faction to discuss this matter. Saint, this matter is extremely strange. Logically speaking, the cultivation of the saints and saintesses is not high enough. It will take some time before the competition begins. An inner court elder said. That's right. Moreover, in the past, the competition was a natural competition. It wasn't carried out in a specific way. Instead, the holy sons and holy daughters would compete with each other. The final winner would be the Zongzi. However, this time, the Senate personally issued an order to hold the competition for the Zongzi position in 3 months. This is illogical. Another inner court elder said with a frown. The Senate of the Kongxian school was made up of the strongest people in the Kongxian school. The chief elders inside were all divine king realm existences. Their status was far above the inner sect elders. Everyone chimed in one after another, guessing one after another, but none of them could come to a conclusion. Saint Lady Qingxiang requests an audience. Suddenly, someone came to report. Invite Fragrant Saintess in. Lu Ming waved his hand, and not long after, someone came to welcome the Fragrant Saintess. Lu Ming, you should be discussing the Zongzi competition that will be held in 3 months, right? Ouyang Qingxiang went straight to the point. That's right. Fragrant Saintess, do you have any news? Lu Ming said. I do have news. I heard from my grandfather that the Zongzi competition this time is mainly because some people in the Senate want to push the Supreme Saint up. Ouyang Qingxiang said. They want to push the Supreme Saint up. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. He did not doubt Ouyang Qingxiang's words. Ouyang Qingxiang's grandfather, who was also Yu Xian's father, was an important figure in the Kongxian school. He was a member of the Senate, a divine king realm figure. That's right. The Paragon Holy Son's background is extraordinary. His father's side and his mother's side are both major powers of the Kongxian sect. Each side has a grand elder in the Senate, and there is more than one of them. It can be said that they are extremely powerful and have great influence in the Senate. This time, it was the big shot behind the Supreme Saint who made this suggestion. Ouyang Qingxiang said. Will the other chief elders agree? Lu Ming said. Of course there will be people who disagree. My grandfather disagrees, but the power behind the Supreme Saint is too strong. He has great influence in the Senate. When the Senate held a meeting, more than half of the chief elders agreed. It's hard for the other chief elders to change their minds. Ouyang Qingxiang said. Why would the Senate suddenly make this suggestion? That's strange. An inner elder was puzzled. It's because of Lu Ming. Ouyang Qingxiang looked at Lu Ming and said. Because of me? Lu Ming was stunned. What did all this have to do with him? The matter is very simple. Lu Ming, the talent that you have displayed is too high and your progress is too fast. It has only been a few years and the Tianhong Saint's son has already died in your hands. In a few more years, who can compete with you? So, the people behind the Supreme Saint are afraid. They are afraid that in a few more years, the Supreme Saint will not be your opponent. At that time, the position of the Kongxian school's patriarch will fall into your hands. Ouyang Qingxiang said. So, the people behind the Supreme Saint made the first move and proposed this plan. Before I am the Supreme Saint's opponent, they will have a competition to determine the Zongzi candidate. Lu Ming followed Ouyang Qingxiang's words. There was no need for Ouyang Qingxiang to continue. Lu Ming could already guess what she meant. The people behind the Supreme Saint were afraid of Lu Ming. They were afraid that Lu Ming would surpass the Supreme Saint, so they were forced to propose this plan. That's right. Ouyang Qingxiang nodded. Hee, interesting. Saintess Qingxiang, what do you want to do? Lu Ming smiled. To be honest, Lu Ming had no interest in the Zongzi's position. The purpose of his cultivation was to improve his strength, protect his family and friends, and break through to the God-King realm as soon as possible to find Xianyanqing. Now, there is only one way to compete with the Supreme Saint, and that is to join forces. Ouyang Qingxiang said, let's join forces. I will help you become the Zongzi. After saying that, she looked at Lu Ming with bright eyes. Lu Ming smiled and said, how about this? Let's join forces. I will help you become the Zongzi. You will help me? Ouyang Qingxiang was stunned. Yes, when we joined forces, I said that you won't regret it. To be honest, I have no interest in the Zongzi's position. But among the saints and saintesses, only you are suitable to become the Zongzi. What do you think? Lu Ming said with a smile. Is what you said true? Ouyang Qingxiang's eyes showed a hint of surprise. Of course it is true. Lu Ming said. Okay, as long as I become the Zongzi and take charge of the Kongxian school in the future, I will never forget you and your people. Ouyang Qingxiang replied. In fact, she came to Lu Ming today with this purpose. She had long seen that Lu Ming was too talented and had a high goal. Lu Ming's heart would not be trapped in the Kongxian school or the Qin Tian Star Zone. Therefore, she had long guessed that Lu Ming was not interested in the Kongxian school's position. But she was. She needed Lu Ming's help. According to my speculation, the other saints and saintesses may join forces. It will not be easy for us to get through this stage. Ouyang Qingxiang said. Let's do our best. Lu Ming smiled. Chapter 2862. Ouyang Qingxiang was right. The saints and saintesses were the most shocked and they heard the news. Fuko Seiko, Saint Ji Xia, Saint Yen Kong, and Saint Shuatan were all upset when they heard the news. They didn't have the confidence to compete with the Paragon Saint now. 2 days later, Fuko Seiko arrived at Saint Ji Xia's residence. You want me to team up with you and help you become the Zongzi? Saint Ji Xia sneered at Fuko Seiko. That's right. Fuko Seiko nodded. Why don't you help me become the Zongzi? Saint Ji Xia sneered. Because I'm stronger than you. Fuko Seiko said. Stronger than me? You're really confident. Saint Ji Xia sneered. In the past, Saint Ji Xia, Fuko Seiko, and Tianhong Saint Ji Xia were all on par with each other. Saint Shuatan, Ouyang Qingxiang, and Saint Yen Kong were slightly weaker. The Paragon Saint was the strongest. Now that Fuko Seiko said he was stronger than Saint Ji Xia, Saint Ji Xia sneered. Boom! At this moment, Fuko Seiko's body shone brightly. He seemed to have turned into a ball of divine light. 5th level Heavenly God. You've broken through. Saint Ji Xia was shocked. In the past, he, Floating Light, and Tianhong were all peak 4th level Heavenly Gods. He didn't expect Fuko Seiko to have become a 5th level Heavenly God. This meant that Fuko Seiko was indeed stronger than him. Now you know that I'm stronger than you. We only have a chance to defeat the Paragon Saint and Lu Ming if you help me. I can promise that as long as I become the Zongzi and become the sect master of the Kongxian school, you'll be my equal. Fuko Seiko said. Equal footing? Saint Ji Xia's eyes flickered. That's right. Being on equal footing is better than having the Supreme Saint take charge of the sect. What do you think? Do you agree? Fuko Seiko said. Even if I agree, I'm afraid the two of us are no match for the Paragon Saint. Holy Sun Ji Xia said. This time, Ouyang Qingxiang and Lu Ming will definitely join forces. The two of us are indeed not enough. Next, let's find Shuatan and Yen Kong. As long as the 4 of us join forces, we will be able to fight against the Paragon Saint. Even defeating him is not impossible. Fuko Seiko said. Alright, I promise you. Holy Sun Ji Xia pondered for a while and nodded in agreement. He also knew that in such a situation, he could only fight against the Paragon Saint by joining forces. If he did not join forces and fight alone, he had no chance of winning. Following this, the two of them went to the residences of the Sacred Son of Flame Sky and Sacred Son of Snow Sandal. After some persuasion, the Sacred Son of Flame Sky and Sacred Son of Snow Sandal agreed to team up with the Sacred Son of Floating Light. In this way, a few months passed in the Kongxian school in an environment full of undercurrents. On this day, it was finally time to compete for the position of Zongzi. Kongxian school, where the sect competition was held, was crowded with countless people. Lu Ming, the Holy Sun, is here. Holy daughter Qingxiang is here. Fuko Seiko is here. Many people exclaimed. The 7 holy sons and holy daughters of Kongxian school had arrived one after another. The supreme saint had his hands behind his back and was full of domineering aura. He looked high-spirited and didn't take the heroes of the world seriously. Only when he turned to look at Lu Ming did he reveal a trace of seriousness. Lu Ming, the supreme saint, muttered with a serious look in his eyes. Just as the 7 holy sons and holy daughters were sizing each other up, many figures flew out from the depths of Kongxian school. The one leading them was the Kongxian school's sect leader, Long Zhoushan. Behind him were a few elders, all of whom were founding members of Kongxian school. This time, Long Zhoushan didn't object to the Senate's suggestion. No one knew what he was thinking. Almost everyone is here, right? Long Zhoushan scanned the crowd and said. The crowd quietened down. Looking at Long Zhoushan, they knew that Long Zhoushan was about to announce the rules of this Zongzi competition. This Zongzi competition will be divided into 2 rounds. The one who spoke wasn't Long Zhoushan, but an elder with white hair. This person was called Zhizuandong. He was an extremely old founding member of Kongxian school. He had lived for a long time and was one of the oldest people in Kongxian school. He was also an ancestor of the Supreme Saint. In fact, after breaking through to the martial emperor realm, one would be said to have an endless lifespan. However, that was just a name. Every living thing had a limit to their lifespan. For example, in the primordial world, martial emperors were said to have an endless lifespan. Every 333,333 years, void emperors, true emperors, and great emperors would face a heavenly tribulation. Many people would die under the heavenly tribulation. As for the heavenly emperor realm, there were no disasters or tribulations. Their lifespan was endless. In fact, there was an end to this endless. This was because a minor thousand world like the primordial world had an end to its lifespan. For example, if the primordial world was destroyed, would the heavenly emperor still be alive? He would still die. The lifespan of a minor thousand world would normally not exceed 10 billion years. In other words, the lifespan of a heavenly emperor would not exceed 10 billion years. How long was 10 billion years? One tribulation would take 333,333 years. 10,000 tribulations would only take a little more than 3 billion years. This was about the same as having an endless lifespan. In the primitive universe, the lifespan of a deity was about the same as that of a heavenly emperor. The longest was only 10 billion years. In the primitive universe, there was a saying that the lifespan of a deity was the same as that of a star. The lifespan of a star was about 10 billion years. The lifespan of a deity was also 10 billion years. The lifespan of a void god, true god, and heavenly god was about the same. 10 billion years was the limit. When a star was extinguished, a deity would also fall. Therefore, most people called 10 billion years a stellar year. However, the lifespan of a divine king was much longer. Generally, a divine king's lifespan was more than 5 stellar years. For example, supremes had already lived for 6 stellar years, which was equivalent to 60 billion years. It was equivalent to a minor world like the primordial world or a stellar year from birth to destruction 6 times. No one dared to breathe too loudly. They just listened quietly. First, let's talk about the qualifications for participation. Only saints and saintesses can participate. Each saint and saintess can bring 3 helpers. The first round will take place on a planet that is about to dry up. This planet has been occupied by a planet devourer. Your goal is to kill the planet devourer on this planet and gain points. The planet devourer is divided into 3 levels: Bronze Planet Devourer, Silver Planet Devourer, and Gold Planet Devourer. Killing a Bronze Planet Devourer will give you 1 point, killing a Silver Planet Devourer will give you 5 points, and killing a Gold Planet Devourer will give you 50 points. Alright, the saints and saintesses who want to participate in the competition, come to me to register. Supremes announced. Chapter 2863. I see. Planet Devourer. Many people murmured as they pondered. Come up and sign up. Ji Zun Dong announced again. I'll do it. The first one to sign up was the Paragon Saint. He stepped forward and signed his name on one of the steels before retreating. I'll do it. Next was Fuko Seiko. He also signed his name. After Fuko Seiko, Ouyang Qingxiang also signed her name. Other than the three of them, the other saints and saintesses stood still. You're not going to sign up? Ji Zun Dong's gaze swept across Lu Ming, Saint Ji Xia, Saint Yan Kong, and Saint Xuetan. I give up this competition. Me too. Me too. Saint Ji Xia, Saint Yan Kong, and Saint Xuetan shook their heads. What? Most of the people present were shocked as they looked at the three saints and saintesses in shock. Ji Zun Dong narrowed his eyes. The three of you are giving up because you want to help Floating Light deal with me. The Paragon Saint sneered. Saint Ji Xia, Saint Yan Kong, and Saint Xuetan did not speak. Their faces were calm, but there was a trace of unwillingness in their eyes. If it was possible, how could they give up so easily? They had no choice. The others were enlightened. They finally understood why Saint Ji Xia and the other two had given up. It was mainly because the Paragon Saint was too strong. If they did not join forces, they would not be able to compete with the Paragon Saint. Qinkuan, are you confident that you can win if they join forces? Ji Zun Dong secretly sent a voice transmission to the Paragon Saint. The Paragon Saint's name was Ji Qinkuan. Patriarch, don't worry. Even if they join forces, they are no match for me. The Paragon Saint replied confidently. At the same time, he looked at Fuko Seiko and the others with disdain. Do you think you can compete with me if you join forces to help Floating Light? What a fool's dream. Floating Light, I think you should just give up on this idea. How do you know you will win if you haven't fought? Fuko Seiko responded forcefully. Now that he had broken through to the 5th level of the Heavenly God realm, he was much more confident. At the same time, he had also obtained the help of the other three saints and saintesses. He might be able to fight against the Supreme Saint. Very confident. At that time, you will know what despair is. The Paragon Saint sneered. Lu Ming, what about you? At this moment, the gaze of the 9 Heaven Supremes shifted toward Lu Ming. I also give up. Lu Ming smiled. These words shocked everyone once again. Lu Ming has also given up. What a pity. Holy Son Lu Ming's talent is definitely the strongest. He's definitely stronger than the Supreme Holy Son. In a few hundred or thousand years, surpassing the Supreme Holy Son won't be a problem. It's a pity that this competition came too suddenly. Lu Ming probably withdrew because he estimated that he was not a match for the Paragon Saint. That is probably the case. Many people were discussing. The 9 Heaven Supremes harumphed coldly. Many people immediately shut up. All right. In that case, the competition will be between the three of you. Each of you can bring 3 assistants. Who do you want to bring? Remember, the people you bring must also be of the younger generation. The 9 Heaven Supremes asked. The Supreme Holy Son pointed at the 3 of them. 3 young men immediately walked out from behind him. The 3 of them were undoubtedly very powerful. Especially one of them who was fully qualified to become a saint, but he had chosen to side with the Supreme Holy Son in the end. Fuko Seiko and the others sized this person up. This person was definitely a threat and was not weaker than them. The people I want to bring are them. Fuko Seiko looked at Holy Son Ji Xia, Holy Son Yan Kong, and Saint Xuetan. Holy Son Ji Xia, Holy Son Yan Kong, and Saint Xuetan stepped out and stood behind Fuko Seiko. As expected, many people's hearts skipped a beat. This was within their expectations. Fuko Seiko was indeed going to bring Holy Son Ji Xia and the other 2. When the four holy sons and saintess joined forces, it would definitely be an extremely powerful force. The people I want to bring are them. Ouyang Qingxiang also spoke up. Lu Ming and the other two young men and women stepped out and stood behind Ouyang Qingxiang. Holy Son Lu Ming is indeed helping Saintess Qingxiang. Yes, I heard that Holy Son Lu Ming was very close to Saintess Qingxiang before he became a saint. It is normal for him to give up the competition and help Saintess Qingxiang. Who do you think is stronger and weaker among the three forces? The people present started to discuss. If there were no accidents, the future Zongzi of Kongxian School would be born from the Most Holy Son, Fuko Seiko, and Saintess Qingxiang. On the surface, Fuko Seiko's side should be the strongest among the three forces. They have gathered 4 holy sons and saintesses. However, the Most Holy Son's strength is unfathomable. With the help of another Holy Son, I am afraid that their combined strength is above Fuko Seiko's side. I think so too. The Most Holy Son is too strong. I am afraid that he alone is comparable to several saintesses and holy sons. The weakest side must be Saintess Qingxiang's side. There is no doubt about it. Although she has the help of Lu Ming, Holy Son Lu Ming also gave his all when he fought with the Tianhong saint. His strength is only slightly stronger than the Tianhong saint. If he and Saintess Qingxiang join forces, they will not be a match for the other two forces. It seems that the suspense this time will be between Fuko Seiko and the Most Holy Son. In terms of overall strength, many people did not think that Lu Ming and Ouyang Qingxiang would win. The discussions around also reached Lu Ming's ears. However, Lu Ming only smiled and did not take it to heart. To be honest, he was not confident and could only try his best. Alright, since the people have been decided, let's set off. Before we set off, this old man will remind you that points are very important. The final result will be a combination of the points from the 2 rounds. The one with the higher points from the 2 rounds will be the winner of this competition. Men, set up the array. After the Most Holy Son finished speaking, a few elders immediately stepped forward. With a wave of their hands, array discs flew out and floated in midair. Soon, a teleportation array appeared in the air. This teleportation array can directly teleport you to the planet that is about to wither. You may set off. The Most Holy Son waved his sleeves. Bam! Bam! The Most Holy Son took the lead and stepped into the teleportation array. Then, his figure disappeared from the array. Following that, Fuko Seiko also took the lead and stepped into the teleportation array. Ouyang Qingxiang and Lu Ming were the last to step into the teleportation array and left this place. The rest of the people waited in place. The first round of the competition would last for 3 months. After 3 months, Lu Ming and the rest would be back on time. You're tuning in to the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.